I've only gone and done it again. If I had £1 for every time I started a show whilst on mute. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It is another day in the world of being a Tottenham Hotspur fan, a fake Tottenham Hotspur fan, apparently, but all the same, a Tottenham Hotspur fan. So big up to each and every one of you. This is a show where we allow people to come on and debate. I'll also, depending if people want to debate, I'll allow people to come on and just have their say in general about Tottenham Hotspur, as long as you've got something to say, right? Don't come on and sit there and expect me to just roll out questions at you. But yeah, listen, an interesting week for Tottenham Hotspur coming up off the back of a somewhat predictable defeat on the road. Now we're turning into that team that is absolutely dreadful on the road. Sorry, I feel drunk and haven't had a drink for forever. We're that team that's turned into being really, really bad on the road, and I don't know why. I don't know what we're not getting right. I don't feel like we're actually changing up the way we play, maybe to counter the teams that we're playing. Is the manager just getting it all wrong? Are the players not as good as we think? Are they being played wrong? Have we had a bad transfer window? Yada, yada, yada. There's all these different things. Look, lots of comments from the show we did earlier. Obviously, he did the what was the show called this morning? The Only Way is Dr. Tottenham. For some reason, Ben, Coover and I love to, the night before, think of what should we call a show? And it's always The Only Way is something. So today was The Only Way is Dr. Tottenham. And the funny thing is that the number of people that have actually messaged in the comment section since that show saying things like, just have patience. I love that one. That's one of my favorites, is people who really have no football knowledge and say things like, just have patience. And oh my God, but if you look at our underlying stats, the number of touches we're having in other teams' boxes, and when you think, sorry, when was that a measure of how good a football team is? Surely a measure of how good a football team is what's the results. And when the results are regularly bad, it gives you an indication that things aren't going well. But hey, that's just me. Who knows? Listen, the link is in the chat. I do want people to come on that want to debate. I get it a lot all week, every week from people I get. I'm going to debate you. Savva, are you running scared? I love that one. Oh, you're running scared. I mean, I'm the one with a YouTube channel that says, hey, come on. But I'm running scared. And one of my other favorites is, your channel is an echo chamber. My channel's an echo chamber, but here I am saying, right, you've got something you want to discuss. You disagree with me. Here we are. Here's the link. Put your face to the camera. Have a chat with me. So there's the offer to those people that call it an echo chamber. And look, I get it, right? I get it. Lots of people, I feel like at the moment, there's a lot of people doubling down at the moment of their opinions. A lot of people doubling down. That's absolutely fine. I think a lot of people got a little bit overzealous in the summer about the window, made a lot of excuses for Archie Gray signings, Bergvall signings, Odeberg signings, the hype that went into the Dominic Solanke signing. I think that everyone just shot their metaphorical load a little bit too soon, should we say. I'm not saying some of those players can't be brilliant in the future. I don't know. I'm not saying Dominic Solanke can't end the season on 25 league goals. But what I'm saying is, at the moment, it's looking like, isn't it, that the summer transfer window was a bust. It's looking like it's actually done nothing to really help the first team. And that's what I find really interesting is lots of people say things like, it's a new team. It's the opposite to a new team. This is a team that played the whole of last season together. This is a team that's got one new first team player in. I could understand if we had gone out in the summer, signed 4 or 5 first team players. We had a completely new looking 11, and you say to yourself, sure, this is going to take time. It's going to take time for player X to learn player Y and player Y to learn player Z and all of this kind of stuff. But it's the same 11 with Dominic Solanke. So these excuses now are running thin. The same way the excuses I've had today. What have I had today? Oh, but the injuries last year. But the funny thing was, our worst form of the season didn't coincide with the injuries. our worst form of the season coincided when every single one of our players was fit. So again, I feel that I know we're I know we're I know we're desperate for success. I know everyone desperately wants it to work out under this manager. I know that there are people that just, oh, we love it, we love it, we love it. It is what it is. Everyone knows I'm not the biggest fan of the manager. And what I love is because I say that, people just go, oh, Ange out, Ange out. I said Ange out about a month ago. I have not gone on a show and said Ange out since. I'm simply saying I really don't care. Like, this manager for me is a real mediocre manager. I've said it a number of times. I'm not going to change my mind. The facts are showing me that I am 100% correct on this guy. It's all very, very mediocre. The substitutions are appalling. The tactical setup is appalling. The way we defend is appalling. But we have more touches in other opposition boxes. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. So look, here is the link. The link is pinned, by the way. Also, guys, I am also getting so bored of my own voice in terms of trying to get to 14K. We are 9 subscribers away from 14K. 9. Can't seem to get there. Once we do, we're giving away tickets. Tottenham Hotspur tickets. Surely someone wants to go and watch Tottenham Hotspur versus Ipswich on Sunday, the 10th of November. It's going to be my birthday present to you. It's my birthday, this Friday. Someone had to remind me. When you get to this age, you really don't care when your birthday is. Hey, it is what it is. So the link is in the chat. There it is. The link is there. If anyone feels really strongly they want to debate something, if anyone feels really strongly that they want to get something off their chest, this is the show to do it. Cameras must be on. You must be somewhere quiet. Please don't use the F word. A little bit of swearing is fine, but please don't use the F word or the C word. Please keep it clean. And just remember that we're giving a platform for people to come on and voice their opinion. So please. I don't know what this means. Anky Panky saying punishing people for getting 9K. It's 9K, 14K. The mic. Yeah, I need to sort the mic out. I do need to sort the mic out. Apologies. But we will get there. We will get there. Show me the lights. God, I'd love a sound technician. I really, really would. But I'm not doing this full time, am I? So let's have a look and see who's in the chat. And before we see if anyone wants to come on and chat, big up to Daryl Denton, who said, can't say I'm not pissed off at Man U getting Ruben Amorim. Yeah, I think it's a good appointment. I think he's a good manager with a good system, a good philosophy. He looks to be a real good manager. We'll see, won't we? We'll see what Man United do. Can he get the best out of some of their players? They've got some good footballers. I always feel that however bad a team is doing, you can always get a bit more out of them with the right tactics, the right ethos, the right system. That's no different for Man U as it would be for Spurs. So we'll see what happens there. Big up to George, who's always in the chat. So big up, everyone. Be nice to get the channel. It would be. George, I kind of given up on it. I literally got to 13K very quickly and can't get to 14K for love nor money. And yes, I will be live tomorrow night for Manchester City, and we will talk about Manchester City tonight. We'll talk about Aston Villa as well. But listen, the link is in the chat. Big up to Mark Kirk. How you doing, brother? I hope you're well. Thank you for all your nice messages while I was recovering as well. So thank you very much. Big up to Vinny Rowley in the chat. I hope you're well, my friend. Tony Rodriguez is here. Finn Rickwood is here. Tottenham Forever is here, talking about his kittens and cats as always. This guy's in here, this Greek guy, Football Heritage TV. There is the link, by the way. The link is pinned if anyone would like to come on. Georgia said the mic's working fine. Other people are saying it's clipping. We'll see. Good evening to Ben Kaufman. Good evening to Tom Thacker. Big up Ben Kaufman, by the way. Thanks for earlier. Big up Tom Thacker. Big up to AV as well, who looks like he's in the gym. And with those guns, looks like he lives in the gym. Look at him. I'm not going to get my guns out. They are probably not even a quarter of the size of those bad boys. Big up to Richard Hollis as well. Hope you're well. Big up to Ethan Bates. Ryan G is in the house. Good evening to you, Ryan. Good evening to Josh Gain. How you doing, bro? Hope you're well. We've got Jeff in the house as well. Gus Parker, Barbaric Disdain, Jackal 70. Listen, I'm just going by certain things that people were saying in the summer. I saw a lot of videos being made about why Dominic Solanke is the perfect Ange player. I'll be honest, I'm yet to see it. I've not been impressed. Just me. I don't, as I before, I don't think Dominic Solanke's shit. I don't think he's great. I think he's okay. I think it's another one where everyone's overhyped a player just because he signed for Tottenham Hotspur. But we will see. We will see. We've got League Cup action on tonight as well. Big up to Greg Bright. I'm not going to read that out, but yeah, very funny. Ben has said, Ange is busy outsmarting Savva. He's going to do it. You just need to get Savva to 14K for it to happen. Ben, I honestly don't think we're ever going to get there. Like we're 9 away. I just don't think we're ever going to get there. Finn has said Man United are 14th and only 2 points behind this amazing Spurs team. This is it for me. This is it. I think when everyone's lost their minds talking about how great Ange is and how shit Ten Hag is, one has won 2 trophies in the last year and is only 2 points behind the other. Like, and yet one's crap and one's amazing. Isn't it funny how football goes? Josh Gaynor said, I'm very happy with Liverpool so far. With Arne Slot, I can see us being a contender for the title. Yeah, listen, you've had a good start. I know you've got some hard games coming up, but in the recent weeks, I think you've played Chelsea, RB Leipzig, Arsenal. So listen, you've come through all of those unscathed. Tottenham Forever said, I've got things I want to get off my chest, but I don't have anything to debate you. Listen, the floor is open. If people really would like to come on, the floor is open. Come on, get anything you want off your chest. If you agree with me, it's fine. You can come on. All I want acknowledged across YouTube is that when I do these shows, I am putting it out there to everybody. I see a lot of YouTubers have cheap digs at me as well. It's funny, when I open up these shows, they never seem to come. I'm getting a lot of YouTubers as well, by the way, I've asked to do shows with, and they say things to me like, I can't do shows with you because your chat's too toxic, and they'll say nasty things. And it's like, I get called an echo chamber, but these people haven't got the gumption to come on and actually have a full-fledged debate. James has said, Solanke looks like he could be the new Vincent Janssen. Look, I don't mind Solanke. I truly don't mind him. But he's the sort of player that when I was growing up, I'm saying for the last however many years, this guy would be your sub-striker. This guy would be your third or fourth choice striker. This is not the guy I see leading a line for a team that really want things to happen. But hey, I might be wrong. He could prove me wrong. Quinny is saying some of these players are looking so bad, but a lot of that is due to the crap tactics and style. Listen, I'm going to bring Tottenham Forever 2023. I don't think he's realised we're in 2024, but hey, we can have that conversation when he comes on. Whilst he comes on and talks to me about Spurs, the link is in the chat. If anyone would like to come on, you can ask me whatever you want. Enigma 6, always sure. You can give him another 15 games. I'm done. I don't really care, right? I don't need to give him another anything. You are more than welcome to. I'm not sitting here saying Ange out. I just don't rate the manager. That's all there is to it. There doesn't have to be a great big thing. But Enigma 6, you're more than welcome to come on. Also, this guy is always in the chat. I'm being negative again, even though our stats are better this season than last season. This is our worst start for 17 years, my friend. There's no stats that are better this season than last season. This is our worst start for 17 years. Big up to Brian Murphy. I know you secretly hate me, Brian, but big up to you. Hope you're well, my man. Has said Johnson, another overrated player stuck on our books. Absolutely. Aren't they all? Big up, good evening. And you're, of course, more than welcome, Brian, to come on. Just quickly, before I do get Tottenham Forever on. Savva, you're forgetting Ange has a UEFA Pro license. When you say I'm forgetting that, I mean, aren't all Premier League and like national managers, aren't they all like eyeballed up with coaching badges? I haven't forgotten anything, my man. I haven't forgotten anything. Big up to Terry who said, Sav, why don't you just put your chat on subs only? Everyone seems to, and let's face it, if people can't just push subscribe, which is free, listen, people do have to be subscribers to message. So yes, it already is on that. But listen, I'm going to bring on Tottenham Forever 2023. Bro, how you doing? What's good? What's new? How are you?
I'm stressed, mate. I am absolutely stressed. This team is just taking the mickey.
Right.
It really is, right? I'm getting so hacked off with it because we can't even beat Palace. How the hell are we not beating Palace, but then we're beating someone like United? I'm sorry, Sam. I'm raging here because it's literally like Tottenham are doing that to me at the moment, big time, mate. But no, seriously, right? I don't know how we can beat United and lose to Palace. It's a joke. And Brighton.
Would it be fair to say that it's a consistency thing? And normally when a team is inconsistent, it's because they're not that good. I'm not saying we're bad, but good teams are normally quite consistent. Let's take Villa, for example. I'm not saying we can't beat Villa, by the way, but Villa are consistently very good. They're consistently not losing many games. They're consistently beating teams. Spurs look very good when we're winning games. Like every now and then we blow a team away like Man U and everyone goes, oh my God, it's Ange ball. It's amazing. But then the following week you get beaten by Brighton. And it's kind of like there's no, would that be fair to say? It's about consistency.
Yeah, and you know what's annoying about the consistency part of it? We are consistent, but in the wrong possible way, Savva. We're losing consistently. And I can't tell people enough, like at the moment, that we are consistent, but we're not consistent in the right way. People then start going poo-pooing it, saying, oh no, but it's gonna get better. No, it's not. Not under this manager, not under this blinking board, not under anything. And it's starting to really cheese me off to the point that I want to rip whatever bit of hair I've got left in my head.
Let me ask you then. And by the way, people, feel free, jump on. There's the link is in the chat. I'm posting it again. This is your chance to come on. Whether you want to debate me or not, listen, myself and Tottenham Forever, we agree on most things, but he's welcome to come on. You guys are, of course, welcome to come on, have your say. Surely YouTube channel should be for everybody to have a say, not just for people to look at my ugly old face every single day, but you must have your camera on, okay? You must have your camera on. Look, you're right.
Well, I wouldn't call you ugly, Savva. I'd call you far from that, mate. But hey, that's another story for another day. But yeah.
Not what I was in my 20s, my friend. Let me just tell you that. Not what I was in my 20s. Look, it is frustrating, isn't it? Because it's great win against Man United. Awful result against Brighton. Great win against West Ham. Awful result against Crystal Palace. And it's that, isn't it? It's that. Yeah. I'll ask you, is it the are we adapting for the opposition we're facing? Are we being arrogant? Are the players buying into it? What do you put this inconsistency down to?
Well, first of all, right, Sav, it's not arrogance, and it's certainly not the players buying into it. It's neither of them two. They quite clearly don't give a flying monkeys, or whatever you want to call it, right, about the manager. Quite clearly, they've given up on him, right? And it's going to be the same tomorrow, right? Where we're going to win tomorrow. I can see it happening now, Sav. We can probably win tomorrow now because it's like we win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. We'll win tomorrow, and we'll get our asses handed to us by Villa on Sunday. I can see it happening.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, lots of people have asked me what I think the score is going to be versus Man City. And I'm firmly not giving a score prediction. Hello, good evening to the wife. I am not giving a score prediction until I see the teams. First and foremost, I don't think Man City can actually. Everyone's saying they're going to put out a B team. Man City's squad is stretched. Man City haven't got a lot of options at the moment. So I don't think it's going to be as weak as everyone thinks because I don't think he's got a lot to rotate. But equally, Ange is making noises, right, that we're probably going to see a similar team to what we've seen in Cups already. That worries the life out of me.
Now, Savva, I want to debate you on this. If there's nothing else I'm going to debate you on throughout the whole of this, right? you say that Man City are stretched, yeah, right? And people are saying they want their B team. I don't want their B team. I want their full flaming squad team, mate.
I'm still here, mate. I'm just shutting
Oh, right. Yeah, I want their full flaming squad to come out, mate. I don't want their B team. I want their full team out there because I tell you one thing, right? I would rather us go out there, right, and beat them with their full team than everyone then turns around and says, and they play their, just say they've got their second string team, even though it's as good as anything, right? Imagine this, right? We go into tomorrow's game, right, at full strength. Let's just say that for a second. And then next thing we know, right, they're playing out their B team. And then we go out there and we do a job on them. Everyone's then going to say, oh, well, Andrew's done great. It was only Man City's B team. Let's see what they do against their A team. Come on, guys.
Well, look, yeah, listen, absolutely, my man. Listen, I am gonna get the next person on if it's all right. But listen, try not to give yourself an aneurysm. It's only football. And listen, you've supported Spurs long enough to know that it's going to be like this next year as well, and the year after. It's going to be like this in a decade, and it's going to be like this for a long time. But listen, bro, take care, and I'll see you on the show. All right?
All right, mate. Yeah, cool, Sav.
All right, man. You take care. See you later.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, I'm going to bring on Omar, who's in the back. I've not spoken to Omar before, so I've no idea what to expect. But what I will say is only a third of you have smashed the like button, and we have had one more subscriber tonight. We are 8 subscribers away from not only getting to 14K, but giving away 2 tickets to watch our beloved Tottenham Hotspur that play wonderful Ange ball and beat everybody. Surely you want to see that. Zigzag, dude, I don't care about pressing stats. I couldn't give a monkeys about pressing stats. I care about the results of the game. Omar, welcome to the show. How are you, my man?
Hey man, finally glad to finally make it on your channel. Been a fan of you for a while. I'm a Barcelona fan, but I'm a Premier League fan, and I follow all of the Premier League YouTubers. I follow you, I follow Flawless, I follow Lee, I follow No Set, a lot of people, right? And I kind of saw your video, so I was like, listen, I just wanted to just turn up and basically have a talk to you about kind of the state that Spurs are in, because I do have my own show where I do talk about Premier League, and I was actually talking to a Spurs fan recently. One of my close friends was a Spurs fan, right? And I was even asking him this question. It's very strange watching Spurs. It's a very, very strange as a neutral to watch your club. And the reason it's strange is that sometimes when I'm watching Spurs, you guys have these moments where you just turn it up, right? And you guys are so incredible going forward. You guys are so amazing. The attacking style is beautiful. But the problem with the attacking style is it can work against certain teams. But when you're playing against a team that's going to give you trouble defensively, you guys get exposed. You guys play Crystal Palace, who did not win a game so far this season. And let's be honest, Savva, it could have been more. Let's be honest. It should have been more. It was 1-0. That was a flattering result. You guys could have conceded more in that game. Eze had an amazing game, and he's now really had an amazing season. But this is the thing. I've been watching Spurs this season. I've been saying it. This is why, for me, I don't know if you guys are going to win a trophy this season, because I feel like when you play against certain teams, it will work, but against certain teams, it won't. You understand what I'm saying? Because I feel like defensively, you guys are not good enough, right? I think that you guys, I don't know, I don't really know what to put my finger on it. Maybe you can kind of give me a honest assessment of what you think. Or do you think I'm kind of on the right track?
Listen, I think you're spot on, my friend. And listen, you don't have to be a Spurs fan. You're more than welcome to come on and talk football. Look, I think it's interesting. I think the one thing I disagree with what you said is that Spurs, when we turn it on, look amazing going forward. I think what we do very well is I think we flood forward well. What I would say is I actually think Spurs have looked better this year in the games where we haven't had as much possession and have actually counter-attacked as opposed to having all of the possession. When we've got a lot of possession, and I know there's people like you saw the guy in the chat who keeps saying to me about pressing stats and touches in the opposition box, that's great. But what you'll actually see is when Spurs do that a lot, we've got a lot of football, don't know how to break teams down. And that for me is about coaching. That for me is about personnel. That for me is about mixing it up. But what we tend to do quite a lot is, I don't know if you saw us last week against AZ Alkmaar.
Yes.
Sideways, 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 sideways. And it's easy to defend against, right? Let's take it to the extreme. The best team in the country, if not Europe, are Man City, right?
Right.
And Man City, every single week, Man City have to face teams that put 10 men behind the ball and say, right, open us up. And then fans go, oh, it's really boring watching Man City because they have all the ball and it's pass, pass, pass. The problem is they have to face 10 men behind the ball every week, and they have to be calm, they have to be patient, and they have to keep prodding and probing for those openings. But what Man City can do is they can move it very quickly from right to left. You know, they can draw players out. Spurs can't do that. Spurs don't have the intelligence on the flanks, and we don't have the intelligence in the midfield for me to pull those teams about. And that's why when we win, it looks good. When we win, it looks good. But you're right. You're 100% right, Omar. It works against teams like Brentford. It works against teams like Man U who are in disarray. It works against Everton. It doesn't work against Newcastle, who are a well-organised side. It doesn't work against Man City, Arsenal, a well-organised side. Palace stuck 3 centre-halves, 2 wing-backs and 2 sitting in front of them. We didn't know how to break it down. We haven't got the guile. So this is why we're just going to do this, because we've got one way of playing, and unfortunately our fans think that we're Man City, and we're not. My opinion.
See, that's the thing. See, that's a very, very good analogy, because that's one thing I always say, honestly, for me, is going to be the downfall of why I think you guys might not win anything this season. And for a lot of Spurs fans who I've been listening to, a lot of them are kind of more obsessed with winning a trophy than getting top 4, because they're looking at top 4 as, well, we can get top 4, get in the Champions League, but necessarily do we have a shot of winning the Champions League, rather than actually like maybe going out and actually like taking the Carabao Cup seriously, taking the FA Cup seriously, right? And kind of ending our trophy drought, right? Yeah. And for me, I've always said, if you want to win these trophies, you can't just have one way of playing football. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be all defensive and no offense. You can't be all offensive and no defensive. So my thing is, my thing is, I was always saying this. I'm like, with Ange, when Plan A works, it's beautiful. And yes, you can say it's a different style, but sometimes I've watched in games where when it works out, you guys score a lot of goals, right? It looks entertaining on the eye. And listen, I'm not one of these people who follow stats, because stats can be extremely misleading. You understand what I'm saying? And for me, I am more of, what do I see when I'm watching Spurs, right? And even on games where I see you guys dominate, I'm looking at it, I'm like, if they play against this team, that's not going to work. You understand what I'm saying? That's not going to work. They're going to be in trouble. I said this when you guys played against United. I was like, the problem with United is defensively, they're just going to give, Tottenham are just going to have all the space in the world to do whatever they want. I didn't think you guys were going to dominate the way you did, but I expected you guys to win, right? And unfortunately, you see that, and it looks beautiful on the eye and on stats, and it's like, oh wow, this Spurs team, these guys are amazing when they go forward. And then you watch the game against Crystal Palace, and you're like, bro, what happened to this team? They were literally playing like this the week before. And I'm like, this is going to be their season. Any Spurs fan who's been watching, and it's not just you. I listened to Jacob. Shout out to United Spurs of America. He's a close friend of mine. Pick up to Jacob, right? He even says the same thing, where it's like, when it works, it's great, but it's not always going to work. And if you guys, and depending on what your expectation is this season, you need to have a plan B for situations like this. When you're playing against a team that is compact, when you're playing against a team who have a structure, because you just said it to the other guy who came in before me, right? Playing against City's second string is still City. Their second string can give you, can literally beat you as well, right? Yeah. And don't get it twisted. I know you guys have a good record against Spurs at the against City at the Spurs Stadium, right? I know you guys, you guys have had your share of wins against them, but here's the thing. Here's the thing with City. City are not exactly in good form. If you watch the game against Southampton, they won. They had a lot of chances. They were very wasteful. But I feel like they've also been struggling, right? And if you guys are going to win, maybe you might take advantage of that. But then again, it's not going to be a roll in the park, because they're going to be, because we know Pep, he's going to build a good structure in that game
Of course.
And what history has shown us under Ange is that he struggles against teams that have a plan and a structure and basically a way of playing. So, look, at the end of the day, best of luck to you guys tomorrow, but I don't know what's going to happen.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And the fact that fans are acknowledging that when it works, it's great. When it doesn't, we're awful. That's telling us that something needs to change. That's telling us that, listen, I think the key thing is when you ask for a manager to adapt and amend, you get people that say really flourish things like, oh, everyone thinks they're a football expert. Well, no, but we're football fans. We're all allowed an opinion of our club, right? We're all allowed to say, well, look, it's not working because we're losing games. We need to adapt. We need to amend. All I don't want a Conte type manager. I don't want an Ange type manager. I want an adaptable manager. It doesn't have to be the world's biggest name, but I want a manager that manages. I want a manager that stops making themselves the center of attention in press conferences, stops coming out with ridiculous interviews, and actually manages. So, for example, against Palace on Sunday, I couldn't believe that the same 11 came out after half time because we were that poor in the first half. You're thinking, right, make a statement, do something, change your entire midfield or something, kick a few people's asses. But he doesn't. He doesn't know what to do. And then when he did make substitutions, they were so bad that you kind of get the feeling this is why he doesn't tinker with the team a lot. But look, Omar, is it Amari? What's
Omar? It's Omar BYT. That's actually
Omar
my
BYT.
channel.
Listen, big up to you. Feel free in the chat to put your link in and people can get over and subscribe to you. Listen, thank you so much for coming on. Always welcome to come back on another time. And I'm going to get Mark, who's the next person on, all right?
All right, man. Take care.
Much love. You take care, all right? Cheers, mate. I'm going to bring Mark on in 1 second. And then after that, I've got Adam. After Adam, there isn't anyone at the moment. So the link is in the chat. As I said, we are only 8 subscribers away from the 14K. Come on, guys. I feel like I deserve 14K at least. I feel like I'm a lot more honest than some of these channels that have got a lot more subscribers. But hey, it is what it is. Big up to absolutely every one of you in here. And please do keep smashing that like button. There's only 104 likes. Before I bring Mark in, we'll just go to Buckshot, who's putting a super chat. What a wonderful picture that is on your thumbnail. What a lovely picture. Is that Chucky and Jason? Is that? Big up to you, Buckshot, who has said, a certain big Spurs channel today, we're near enough blaming the pitch for losing, saying Palace watered the pitch heavily on purpose. Look, I don't know who that is. I don't care. But I'll say that person is chatting absolute shit. And that person, I don't know who it is. They're more than welcome to come on, because when we start talking about pitches as the reason for losing and watering them, that's when you know there's issues. People can't just admit that we've not done well. But hey, big up to you, Buckshot. Really, really appreciate the super chat. I don't get too many of them. So when I do appreciate them. So big up to you. Big up everybody else. And I'm going to bring in Mark. Mark, long time no speak. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How about yourself, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I thought I was dying this time last week. So this is a marked improvement. So, yes. Oh, God, it's Spurs. It's Dr. Tottenham, right?
Well, absolutely. I'm not sure if anybody's seen the fixture list, but I've got a funny feeling that Ipswich is going to be a massive game for Ange, because Savva, you must have seen the fixture list. We've got Man City, we've got Galatasaray, we've got Aston Villa, we've got Chelsea, we've got Man City, we've got Roma, Fulham, and Bournemouth.
Yep.
I can't see many wins there, mate. And if he loses against Ipswich, I think he's really done. I can't see where the wins are going to come from.
Yeah. Look, I think the one thing that this manager's got going for him, and I don't know if you saw, somebody phoned up TalkSport today. It was brilliant. And literally they started ranting and said, I don't understand. And they're actually called Richard. My first name is Richard. And I was like, did I call up? You know, when you're like, did I do that? Because it sounded very much. And this person was said, I just don't understand the love that Ange gets because his football is overrated and the results are very erratic. And the problem is, the thing that will keep him is every now and then he'll pull a result out of the bag. Like, in my mind, I kind of get the feeling we will win one of the next 2 games and everyone will lose their mind and everything's great. Oh, we beat Villa or we beat City. And then it'll be, oh, see, give him another month. You got people saying, give him another 15 games. But Mark, let me turn the question on you. To those people that say, give him 15 games, give him to the end of the season, isn't the worry, though, that it's not that we're 9 Premier League games in. It's that the form is not getting better in any way, shape or form domestically.
Was it 53 points out of 111?
I don't know. Do you know who'll know? It will be me.
53, 55? Yeah, 53, 55.
There you go. That.
Points with 400 million spent, more than any other Spurs manager in the history of this club.
I know. But he's got this. Listen, I'm not sitting here shouting Ange out. It's like a cult following him. Like,
yeah.
I'll tell you what, this one was better. I don't know if you saw my video this morning. This one was more telling. Let me stop that banner 1 second. This one was more telling. Everyone hated Nuno. Everyone, not personally, not as a human being, but everyone hated his football. And when you actually look at it, bearing in mind that was Nuno's first 10 games for the football club. This is Ange's second season, and he's on par with that crap form. Nuno.
Yeah. Still, how much money did Nuno spend? How much money did he spend? Was it 50 million?
You do know I'm not Stel. Yeah, you know I'm Savva.
Sorry, Sav. Sorry, Sav. It's Leighton. Sorry, Sav. Yeah, how much money did Nuno spend? Do you have 50 million?
Yeah, look, I don't even know. But what I do know is that Nuno had players like Harry Winks in the team.
Yeah.
Emerson Royale, Ryan Sessegnon, Davinson Sanchez. And this guy was, oh my God, look how bad he is. This manager this season has started worse than that season did. And it's give him 15 games, give him 20 games.
Yeah, but at least Nuno had an identity. He had a way of playing. He played away with Wolves the way they played. What is Ange's identity? I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know what we are. I don't know what we are as a team. I really don't.
We bought these wingers who can't cross balls, and we got a striker who head balls. So
you know what? I find the whole Solanke dynamic really, really interesting because, as I said, during the summer, I remember I came on and I remember I was at a meeting and I finished it at about 9 p.m. at night. And when I looked at my phone, I just saw, you know, when you look at your phone and you see like 25 missed calls, 50 WhatsApp, and you're thinking, Jesus, who's died? Like that's your first feeling, God, someone has died, right? And I looked at it, it wasn't. It was the Spurs had signed or were about to sign Dominic Solanke, right? So I came home and I did a show, an impromptu kind of, is this really what we need? Is so many in the chat. This guy is brilliant. He is everything we need. This guy is top draw. This guy. And I kept saying, I don't mind him, but he's only ever had one good year. And when I'm watching him now, Mark, and I'm going to get to a question here for you. When I'm watching him and going, yeah, okay. Right? When you watch Dominic Solanke, what do you think? Without being, obviously, I know you're not a rude person anyway, but what do you think about Dominic Solanke?
25 to 30 million pound player. That's what I think. And I think if we'd have paid that, you'd have sat on the bench and said, that's fine. But 60 million. I mean, for 25 million more, Gyökeres. And he's ripping it up in Champions League and in domestic.
I was championing Gyökeres, right? Now, I'm not saying the Spurs got him, but I remember people going, oh, he's only had one good season. And I was like, watch him play. Watch
Gyökeres. Champions League,
His footwork, his power, his aggression. His
muscles pick up the ball.
his desire to get in the box. Like he's a predator. He wants to score goals. Listen, and again though, I don't know, is this tactical from Ange that Solanke's never in the box? Is it tactical that we've got no one creating for it? I mean, what's going on?
Is it a slightly case though, because he's not getting the ball, he comes deeper. A bit like Harry Kane come to try and get into the play, he comes deeper because he isn't getting fed them crosses and stuff like that he feeds off when he was at Bournemouth. He comes slightly deeper to come into the play, and that's not working either. For Solanke to work, you had to get top quality wingers who can cross the ball and beat the man. Yep. We didn't get that. And also as well, what I'd say about the Solanke thing is, why did we get him so late in the transfer window? If he was Spurs player, what we wanted, he was the main man for Sir Ange, why did we wait till end of, was it August time? He didn't play in the friendlies.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I completely agree with you. I just find something's not right. Don't get me wrong, look, and I can separate, right? One thing I'm good at doing is decompartmentalizing, which I love saying as a word because ironically, to decompartmentalize the word decompartmentalize, you have to decompartmentalize. So I just like saying it. And what I can do is I can separate my feelings from Ange as a manager to my feelings for Daniel Levy as a chairman, to my feelings of Johan Lang as a director of football, to my feelings of the players. Look, just because I don't rate Ange doesn't mean I think everything else at the club is great. I seriously question this transfer window. To the point where I think this is one of the worst transfer windows the club's ever had. I think it was an appalling transfer window.
I think it was up there. Last time I remember a transfer as bad as this is when we got rid of all that bail money and we bought 7 players. The Lamela, the Brazilian midfielder who hardly played. And it was... I think he went at Barcelona. It was just awful. And they still haven't realised less is more. Buy 3 instead of 7. Get 3 quality now players instead of 7.
Yep. And do you know the funny thing, though? Even that transfer window gave us a Christian Eriksen. You know, at least the one saving grace. That and to be fair, I didn't think Nasser Chadli was actually too bad a player, but you're right. We always have these transfer windows where we're bringing in 6 or 7 players rather than if I'd said to you, Mark, do you know what? In this summer gone, Spurs are going to spend 150 million only on 3 players, but it's going to be a top winger, a top centre forward, and a top fullback or a top number 6. If I'd said to you, we're going to have a smaller squad this year, 3 quality first team players are joining, and then the rest is going to be the youth, would you have taken that over what we did?
100%. If we'd have bought Eze, Ederson, and Danny Alma, or somebody like Rafinha, who's absolutely ripping up Barcelona, who wasn't good enough for Spurs, but Wilson is. Boys, I'd take Steven Bergwijn back over Wilson.
Mate, listen, do you know what? I kind of feel sorry. And by the way, I will bring in Adam in a second. After Adam, I've got Rico. I don't think I've ever spoken to Rico. I'm just looking for my main man, Lena. Lena Tuz, who's always in the chat giving it large. Where are you, Lena? Lena, this is the bat signal going out to you. Where are you, mate? I'm live. Where are you? The last thing I'll say to you, Mark, about this is it's strange, isn't it? I remember in the summer saying, Rafinha, I was like, I'll take him all day long. I'll take that all day long. Proper winger, can go outside, inside, left, right, plays in the hole as well. We have fans going, is he better than Brennan Johnson? It's
every person that Spurs was linked with that we didn't get is doing well. Every person you look at who's playing Champions Leagues looks amazing. Lookman, people said, no, we don't want him. He's scoring every week for Atalanta.
I know. No one's good enough for us. No one's good enough for us. By the way, first of all, apologies, Rico. I do massively apologise. So sorry. Yes, you did. Come on. You're the Arsenal fan that talked to me about Daniel Levy. Apologies, mate. It's been a long week for me. Apologies. But this is the problem, Mark. It's no one's. I remember Conor Gallagher. He wouldn't get in our team. Rafinha wouldn't get in.
Did he first start? Guaranteed first start. First name on the sheet. Conor Gallagher. Bang.
It's absolutely madness. All the players. But what the last thing I'll say to you, right, is whenever a player is linked with Tottenham, they're not good enough. When we sign a player out of the blue, like Wilson Odobert, right? Oh my God, yeah, perfect, Ange player, perfect. And you're like, well, hang on. If I'd suggested him last week, I would have been told, I don't know football, you don't want him. But we just signed him, and now he's amazing. Listen, Mark, always lovely to have you on. Were you arguing in another chat last night, by the way? With someone?
No, it weren't me, no.
It was another Mark. All right, just checking.
No,
just checking.
no.
I didn't think it would be you. Right, listen, much love. Take care. And look, come on, you Spurs for tomorrow. So I'll catch you later.
See you later.
All right, take care. Take care. I'm going to bring on Adam. Then I've got Rico. Then Cammy. Guys, I need your cameras on. Come on, people. Put your cameras on. It's only fair. You can see my face. It's fair for me to see yours. Before we move on, big up to a user who's got the best username on YouTube, bar none. Said Angie's identity equals obfuscation. Wow. That's the first time I think that word has ever been used on my channel. Sorry, you're too intelligent to be in my channel. I'm from South London, my friend. But big up to you, a user. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate you. Please do smash the like button. We now are only 7 subscribers away from 14K. It means nothing to you, but it means a big deal to me. Somebody who, when they first started, didn't know if I'd get to 1,000. So to get to 14,000 would be really, really good. Just quickly, 90 Stephen 1008. I love that. A lot going on in that name. Said, I saw Ange has got the lowest total of points for Spurs over 30-something games for years. Ten Hag got sacked. Ange only 2 points above him. Grounds to be sacked. I won't answer that, but listen, look, that's the point. Over the last 37 games, Ange's points record is abysmal. But we're not allowed to do that. That's cherry picking. 37 games, 38 games, it's cherry picking, even though it's a whole season. Big up for anyone else, for anyone that cares, before I bring on Adam, a friend of mine. Before I do that, Southampton are beating Stoke 2-0 in the League Cup. And I also think Brentford might be winning 1-0 in the League Cup as well. So at the moment, the 2 bigger clubs are winning. I'm going to bring on Adam. How are we doing, Adam?
Hello.
Have you been calling TalkSport and causing havoc lately?
I did. Like last week, I actually did. And it was just more of the same, really. But I basically spoke to Simon about how, even since I had spoken to you, I think it was before the Brentford game, we went on that, 6 out of 7 win streak, and obviously everyone started. You're in the mud, and
yep.
The thing that you said before is really, really hits hard. It's the fact that we don't ever play all right. We absolutely stink when we play badly, and the Dr. Tottenham thing that touched me was I remember going to Tottenham versus United last season, and we drew 2-2 at home towards the end of the season. And Jadon Sancho hadn't even played a game for United in can't remember, it was 4 or 5 months. But he comes to Tottenham and he gets past Emerson Royale and whips one round Fraser Forster. First goal in however long it was. And I don't think he even played again after that. But he came to Tottenham and scored. And Palace hadn't won all season, and they came and scored. They won.
Do you know what, Adam? I think
it follows us everywhere.
It's the nail on the head. For me, I think it's not. Listen, we're Tottenham. We're not Man City. We're not Barcelona. We're not Real Madrid. We're going to lose games. Yeah, I think we all acknowledge that. We all acknowledge we're going to lose games. But when we lose, we seem to lose in a spectacular fashion, like we did at Brighton, or in a kind of really mundane, not even giving it a go, making a fight of it, like we did against Palace. And if we had lost to Palace, but the Palace goalkeeper had a worldie, do you know what I mean? The Palace goalkeeper had made 15 saves and we'd had 19 corners, but we just looked so, I wouldn't even say off the pace. We just looked like, it was almost like a pre-season game for us, but they didn't look up for it. There was no fight. And you're thinking to yourself, Adam, right, come out second half. roll your sleeves up. Let's see second half exactly the same as the first half, and that tells me nothing's happening in the changing room at half time. Nothing meaningful is happening. So, what do you make of Spurs? Where are you at with Ange and the tactics? Floor is yours.
Do you know what? Like, I personally, every time I see people calling you negative and stuff, the thing I don't like is A, everyone's entitled to an opinion, but B, if you look at the facts, like the biggest stat for me was we've won 3 away games in 2024. And I actually had to go back and even look at who we even won those games. It was Sheffield United. It was bottom 5 teams. And what I think yesterday showed me is, you're right, it was probably the worst transfer window in decades. I would arguably say in the last 10, 20 years, I can't remember a worse one. And I look around at the other teams, and this transfer window proved we don't sign men, we sign boys. Like, when I look at young players that other teams are signing, they're signing Amadou Onanas, the Chelsea players. Look at Lavia, look at Caicedo. Like, these guys roll up their sleeves and they can get dirty when they have to, but they're technically sound. But the young players we sign, it feels like we never sign a young player that is sort of, it's like
robust.
Robust.
Would it be fair to say, Adam? So, for example, if you look at the young players we bought Archie Gray, for example, who looks timid. So far from what I've seen, I'm not knocking him, but he looks timid, he looks weak, he doesn't look ready. Then you look at Palace, who bought Adam Wharton. From the first time Adam Wharton went into that Palace midfield, he's looked at home.
And he's in the England team 20 games later. 20 games later.
Right, but he's physical. Listen, Adam Wharton for me is a very good footballer, but gets stuck in as well. He's a proper all-round, all-action midfielder. I look at that, and then I look at ours, and I go, like, even Bentancur, he's good on his day, but again,
you're waiting for something. You're always waiting for something.
Do you know what I mean? The only one in our midfield for me that's got any power, again, is very inconsistent, is Basuma. Like, we don't buy, you're right, we do not buy men, like powerful men.
And other than that, I've got so many things I could talk about. The Solanke thing, I'm going to come to that. I think what I said to Stel on his chat earlier, I don't think in isolation Solanke might be the worst signing. The problem that we have is we've signed Solanke with Richarlison there, and then we've put Werner, Odegaard, Brennan Johnson, and so if we bought Solanke and we had Son in his prime around him, and or he was a backup to Kane, the 3 we won. There you go. Sheffield United, Villa was a fluke. I don't know, and United again, they sacked Ten Hag the week or two after. So, but Solanke, I don't know. It's a tough one because he's a 25, 30 mil striker at best, which I don't think is his fault, but it's the players we're putting around him. I think Werner is absolutely, and I'm not here to like hate on Werner, but what I'm saying is when we're getting told by Daniel Levy that we're moving into this stadium to attract the best players, and you have to remember, this comes down to wages. Like, a lot of people really overlook when we pay 60 mil for a player. Look at the wage bill. Bergvall more bothered about his hair, 100%. I was going to actually read this quote to you and just show all the fans, which I've got on my phone.
Yeah,
and I showed everyone. Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall have impressed so much in training and pre-season friendlies that Tottenham no longer consider signing a midfielder as a priority.
Is it this, Adam?
There we go. Yeah, that's the exact one.
Yeah. But doesn't this just go to show, and again, this isn't about those two. I feel sorry for those two, but doesn't this just go to show that when we were making those signings in the summer, that we've got such a big portion of the fan base. Remember that guy that came onto my show and said, Savva, we're going to bear fruit. And Savva, our squad is stronger this year because we brought in Bergvall and Gray, but we let go. And by the way, this isn't revisionism. We needed to let them go. But Højbjerg, Lo Celso, Undon Bellerin,
they will get in our team now.
Right? All 4 of those went, right? I've got no problem, Adam, with all 4 of those going. But we replaced them with 2 18-year-olds that aren't ready. And people are going,
look back, they get in our team now.
Look, absolutely. Right now, Højbjerg, I mean, that's the sad indictment.
Would be needed.
And that's the sad indictment, is that Spurs had, for me, we had a terrible window, but people wanted to pretend it was good. And this is the problem. In this fan base, Adam, if you pretend that things are great, you're a positive fan.
This is the thing I was going to say to you, because obviously I don't do YouTube. Like, I'm not doing things. I don't say anything for views. Like, and I watch you because you're very authentic. So I don't like when people come and call this an echo chamber, right? Because I will say to you in black and white, I'm Ange out. Like, I am Ange out, but I'm not saying it as in it's a violent thing or like, you know, I'm ready to go to town on him. No, I just think he's not going to cut it. And I don't think we should lie to ourselves. And I'm not going to mention any certain channels, but I watch certain channels who sort of are the Levy happy clappy sort of side of YouTubing. And they'll say things, I'm not going to quote the guy himself, but, you know, a big channel saying things like, I'm still Anjin, it's a process, it's a project, we have to be patient. But I don't think in football you need to be patient. Like, when you can see something is wrong, that doesn't make you negative. You're not negative, Savva. Like, I'm not saying you're Ange out either, but me personally,
I called for Ange to come out, Adam. I called for him to come out a while ago. What I don't need to do is every show say Ange out. I don't. Everyone knows my feelings, and by me being honest and saying I don't rate the manager, what it means is every time we win a game, I get, oh, you're in the mud. Like what they hear, right? What I say, Adam, into my magic mic, what I say into the mic is I don't rate the manager.
Yeah, that's all it is.
What they hear is Savva thinks we're going to lose every single game of football we play. Right. And I don't think that at all. But the problem is I've seen a lot of Spurs YouTubers today. And listen, I'm not one to police YouTubers' content. Every YouTuber, crack on, make whatever content you've got. Right. First of all, I don't like all this YouTube where they have to make videos about other YouTubers. I think that's really silly. I'm authentic. I'll do my own content. I'll sit here for an hour, 2 hours on my own, and I'll give my opinion on football. I don't need to go, oh, let's have a video. Let's watch a video of this person and see how crap their opinion. I don't need to do that. I'm comfortable, Adam, in my opinion. But what these people are doing, I've started to see this. I've started to see it in the last couple of weeks. Their videos have suddenly gone from Ange is brilliant, Ange ball, Ange is a genius, this to for what needs to change at Spurs. Or now they're starting to come into the middle, right? They're starting to come into the middle.
I went early on it, and you've probably gone early on it as well. That it's never going to come. And you know what? I'm just going to say,
Adam, you know what they'll do? This is the thing. You know what they'll do, mate? Right? If we beat Man City, they'll straight away forget any doubts they had, and they'll go straight back to, oh my God, if we play like that every week, Ange Ball's going to win us the league. And these people, they move like, there are so many YouTubers, their opinions flow like the wind. And that's fine. That's fine. But that for me doesn't make you a good fan. Just going with the wind doesn't make you a good fan. All of the people that come into my chat and tell me about Ange Postecoglou and how great he is, YouTubers, I say to them, come on and debate me about it. They won't do it because you know what? Facts don't care about feelings. And this is the thing.
Three away wins in 2024. That's a fact. That's not. It's embarrassing. That's like, I think you'll find teams in the bottom five that might have 3 away wins at some point.
It's embarrassing. 3 wins in 2024 is 3 away wins in 2024 is absolutely embarrassing. But the biggest stat, the worst one of all of them for me, is this. This is the what? Look at that.
Yeah,
not feats from our last 16.
You know what I was thinking earlier as well, right? Is when you were talking about players that our fans say we wouldn't have Conor Gallagher's, and it's the same with managers, right? Like in summer, I said to my friends, and they called me, I would take Thomas Tuchel, ex Chelsea or not. I said I would take him over Ange. I'm not saying I would have him right now at the club, but when I say something like Tuchel would do better with this team than Ange, they all say that I hate Ange and there's an agenda, but I'm saying no. I just think Tuchel is a manager that will get more out of this squad. I think Ruben Amorim, when I said that a few weeks ago, people said, oh, but the Portuguese league. And I'm thinking, what right do we have to think we're any bigger than, a Benfica or a Sporting Lisbon? And if, we were linked with Slot last year and everyone said, oh, the Dutch league, Bergwijn came from there. And, And Slot looks pretty comfortable in the Premier League now. And obviously it's early. You know, Slot could do. He hasn't hit a bad patch yet. You know, we have to see. But
Yeah.
I was going back to when people say things like it's a project, I think you're either lying to yourself for the views, which some of them probably are, and keeping up the positivity for certain reasons, or they genuinely are blind. Like when you talk about the treatment that Jose and Conte and Nuno and these guys all get, I don't remember them going through patches of form this bad, unless it might have been right before they got sacked. But Ange has spent more money than them, like you've just touched on.
All I ever say to people is, I offer to people, come on, and I always say, if you disagree with me, you'll notice all the ones that disagree with me will never come on. Have you noticed?
Yeah, I've seen.
They will never come on. The people that go, oh, but Ange does this, Ange does that, you don't understand Ange. Come on and tell me. But they won't do it. The problem is, people double down on things. So for me, if Ange Postecoglou wins Spurs the Europa League this season, I turn around at the end of the season and go, I was wrong. Right? I hold up my hands and go, I was ugly. I was ugly enough with my opinion to say I was wrong. You know the problem? These people that are constantly wrong, these people that now are starting to blame the players aren't good enough. These were the ones telling me we were going to win the league last year. These were the ones telling me Ange is going to win us the league. Okay. But now this season we're not doing well. It's the players. There's no consistency to their debate. It's literally, I like Ange. Cool. Why? I just like Ange. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think he's even good with the media. I think he's a right. I'm not going to say on stream, but you know, he's a right so-and-so, the media. Not just that. When I'm having this chat with people, I always say, right, what gives you the impression we are going to improve when we haven't even played Liverpool yet? We haven't even played City in the league yet, or the cup till tomorrow, which I'll be at. We haven't even played Chelsea yet. We haven't played Villa yet until this weekend. So I sort of think to myself, we've already dropped points against Leicester. We've already dropped points against Palace. You know, where do these people see our form improving? We're going to have the same players. We're still going to have Werner starting probably this weekend. We're still going to have Richarlison in the team, swapping between him and Solanke. We're still going to have Brendan Johnson on the right probably. So where is the improvement going to come from? Where do people get a logical basis to argue it?
I don't know. They kind of feel they say things like it's going to click soon. Well, when? Because at the moment it's not working. But look, Adam, I do need to get the next person on. Always welcome on, mate. Sorry, I did see your WhatsApp, but I was cooking and doing some bits. Listen, take care. Thanks for coming on. Some really, and I'll catch up with you soon. All right.
Yes, mate.
Take care. All right, I'm going to bring on Rico, who I know is an Arsenal fan. And last time he wanted to tell me I was wrong about Daniel Levy. Let's see what he's got to say this time. By the way, please do keep smashing that like button. We're 150 likes exactly. We should be on 200 minimum by now. And we are only 6 subscribers away from the 14K. 6 from 14K. And when we get to 14K, we're giving away a couple of tickets to watch Tottenham Hotspur versus Ipswich Town at White Hart Lane. Let's go to the next person. Rico, how are you doing, my man? You okay? You're on mute, by the way, if you're still there, Rico. Awkward. Rico, are you there? Nope, Rico's not there, so I'm going to kick him. Right, the link is in the chat. If anyone else would like to come on, you don't have to disagree with me. This is a chance to, if you want to say anything, you want to get anything off your chest, the link is there. There it is. It's pinned as well. If you would like to say anything, you can agree with me. You can disagree with me. Just quickly, 7. Big up, 7. Hope you are doing well. I said, big up, Sav. Hope your day is going well. Yes, my day is going very well. Thank you. It's been a busy one today, but yes, a very good day. Thank you. And tomorrow, just so you know, 7, I'll have a video coming out at lunchtime with myself and Irish Dave from the Irish Hotspur as we talk and Sav and Dave and Irish discuss. And then in the evening from 6:30, I'll be live with all the build-up to Tottenham versus Man City. But big up. Thank you very much for your support. I appreciate it, as always. Rico, for some reason, your device is not connecting, but the link is in the chat. The link is there. So anyone is welcome to come on. Let's have a look at some of the comments. TB has said, I think Odobert and Gray are brilliant signings and feel like strangers at the club right now. In the next season or two, when they feel at home, will grow into amazing players we think they are. Look, I think the problem I have with this is I don't know how good those players are going to be in the future. But when we're already saying brilliant signings, I don't know what that's based off. That only for me. For me to start throwing superlatives at football players, I need to see some really good stuff from them. And there's loads of superlatives being thrown at some of these players. But big up. Thank you very much for the comment. Rico, is it working this time?
Should be. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. How you doing, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. You ringing up to give me another lesson about Daniel Levy?
Not lesson, but I've got some stats for you.
About Daniel Levy? Rico, are they about Daniel Levy?
Yes, they're about Daniel Levy, yeah.
Superb. Let's do it. I love this.
Okay.
I love this. Let's see if you can convince me.
Okay, so the 10 years before Daniel Levy, do you know how many times you finished in the top half?
The 10 years before Daniel Levy?
Yeah.
God, so that would have been what, 92 to 2001? Probably only about 4 times?
5 times. So you finished in the bottom half 5 times. Do you know what your highest finish was? Spurs' highest finish?
In that time. So 91, 92. Did we finish 3rd in that year?
The highest. No, I'm saying the highest in the 10 years.
Yeah. 3rd?
No, 7th.
7th. What year are you going from?
So I'm going from the year he come in, so 10 years before that. That's what my stats are telling me. I didn't know this. Maybe you might know this, but Daniel Levy came in the week after Sol Campbell sold to Arsenal.
Right, okay.
So Daniel Levy, since that's happened, he actually completely stopped that as well.
Okay. Right,
so,
go on.
And also you add to that a Champions League final. And I didn't know this, but the stadium and stuff, Daniel Levy's actually produced more money than Real Madrid with that stadium.
Right. Okay.
That's to be honest, that's all the stats I've got. But I think It proves that he has improved Spurs.
So, okay, listen, we could do this again. We could do this, sure. Let me. I don't need to go to stats. I've got this all on the top of my head. In the 10 years before Daniel Levy, how many trophies did Spurs win?
Well, he's only won 1, so about 20 odd. But the 10 years before,
in the 10 years before Daniel Levy, Tottenham Hotspur won 2 trophies,
2 FA Cups.
We won an FA Cup and a League Cup. You could talk to me all day long about your highest league position was 7th. Daniel Levy has been here so long now. Finishing in the top 4, the top 6 should not be an achievement.
Can I give you one more stat?
Anymore. Sorry?
Can you give you another stat?
Go on, go for it.
You know, Spurs haven't finished outside the top 6 I read since 2008, 2009.
Say that again. We haven't finished what?
Outside the top 6 since 2008, 2009 season. So what's that? 15 years in Europe?
That's not true. That's not a true stat. Do you want me to debunk your stat?
I know what you're going to say. Actually, I've just realized.
Well, yeah, I'm going to say the truth.
7th a few years ago.
Yeah, Spurs have finished 7th and 8th in the last 10 years. So it's not true. This is the problem. You're trying to argue. I don't know why
that website says that.
You're trying to argue with me that the chairman of my football club is doing a great job, but there's no success to show.
Spurs.
But from what to what?
So look, you finished out in the bottom half 5 times. That's really bad, Sav. In the bottom half. That's pretty much nearly.
Let me ask you a question then. Why are you only picking the 10 years before he came? Why aren't we going back further?
Because I think that's fair enough. 10 years is like a good like scope to say where the club was when he come in.
Okay, cool. So
George Graham just left.
hang on, Rico. You think 10 years is a good measure, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the 10 years, this is the brilliant thing when people want to cherry pick stats. So in the 10 years since Daniel Levy was at Spurs, the first 10 years, which is the 10 years you're telling me we're only allowed to use 10 years, not 24. We're using 10. In Daniel Levy's first 10 years, we were 12th, 9th, 10th, 14th, 9th, 5th, 11th, 8th. So by using your measurements, Tottenham only finished in the top 6 twice in his first decade.
And then go by the second decade?
Okay, but Rico, if we're going to use your second decade, I can use my second decade before that 10 years before Levy walked in. Because the 10 years before that, Spurs won in Europe and another FA Cup. So which way do you want it? Do you want it to be 10 years or do you want it to be 20 years? You can't pick and choose, mate.
I don't think that's fair, to be honest.
But
I don't think
why?
that's fair.
Why?
From
if you're going to come on and debate me, you're going to have better than this, right? Why?
And then you've got to go by his whole tenure. So in his whole tenure, has he improved Spurs? Yes, he has.
Okay. So there's the question again. So, okay, Rico. Yeah. So let me ask the question again, which you fail miserably to give me an answer to. If we're going to use his whole tenure, we're going to use 24 years. So if you're using 24 years, I'm going to use 24 years before Daniel Levy was at Spurs. And the 24 years before Daniel Levy was at Spurs, Spurs won a European title, 2 FA Cups, a League Cup, and 2 League Cups. Spurs won 5 trophies the 24 years before Levy and 1 trophy 24 years with him. So my question to you is, do my 5 trophies trump your 1?
Do you know why I don't think?
No, hang on, Rico. You're not. No, Rico. You're not answering questions. Do my 5 trophies trump your 1 trophy?
So the connection is quite bad, actually.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know if it's mine or yours.
Can you hear me? It's not mine. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it's a bit robotic. But you can carry on.
Okay, so I'll ask you the question again. Do my 5 trophies trump your 1 trophy? Yeah?
Yes, they do, yeah.
Okay, so then how has he made us better?
Yes, I'm sure it's your connection.
On what metric has he made us better?
League position.
Right, okay.
Which is how I measure how good a team is.
Okay, but again, I'm going to show you what I showed you before, which you completely seem to have forgotten. There we go. There's the 25 years before Daniel Levy. Point. There's the 25 years before Daniel Levy, right? The 25 years.
Point that he made you a
Rico, you've got to let me finish the sentence, man. You've got to let me finish the sentence. The 24 years before Daniel Levy, Spurs finished in the top 4 6 times. The 24 years after, 7 times. Better by 1. Worse off by trophies by 4. So what has he improved? What's he improved?
So I can go now. Okay, so the league position, he's improved there. Yeah. The average league position, he's improved there.
Right, from 9th to 6th.
There. Also,
well
he
done.
took over, let's be honest, I proved to you that he took over a mess. So obviously, the first few years he's just getting his feet in the door. It's true, and as well, you're not factoring in. Wait, let me just say this: what you're not factoring in, that 24 years before Spurs didn't move stadium. He had to do a whole stadium move, which I'm telling you as an Arsenal fan is tough. It's tough when you move stadium, whether you like it or not. Sav, you can laugh, but it's true. It's true. You've got City spending billions.
The problem
United
is,
spending.
Rico, what I love about it. You're coming on and trying to tell me about my chairman. I love this, right? All you've got in your arsenal, no pun intended, all you've got as your weapon is that he took us from 9th to 6th in average league position. In a tenure where Spurs and the Premier League have had more money than ever, he's taken us from an average of 9th to an average of 6th. And you think, as a Spurs fan, I should look at that and go, cheers, Daniel. Whilst whilst charging us the most amount of tickets and replica shirts in world football, you think that is an improvement in 24 years to take the club from 9th average position to 6th whilst not winning anything.
So, like I said to you, the trophies, you can't really, I don't think you can use that as an argument because the 24 years before Levy come in, the FA Cup, it's true that, Sam, it's true. The FA Cup and the League Cup were taken a lot more seriously than they're taken now. That's just the fact. Also, the money distribution is a lot different now. You've got literally clubs backed by states now. I don't know how you expect Daniel Levy to compete with that. It wasn't like that back then. It wasn't like that.
Can I ask you some questions?
The money distribution was a lot more different. And like I said to you, he also changed stadium. And Sav, now you've got to answer this honestly. The reason, Sav, you've done panel shows with the other big clubs and stuff. Would you be on there if Daniel Levy had never come to Spurs? Be honest, Sav. I'm not saying you. I'm saying Spurs as a club. Would they be represented on the panel shows with the other big clubs?
Why?
I don't think they would.
Why not?
Because you guys are just not at that level, and that's not being disrespectful. I'm being honest. I think Daniel Levy's brought you to that level.
But brought us to what level? We're less successful with him than when we didn't have him. What level has he brought us to?
A level where you are a respected top 14
I'm gonna tell you,
Champions League.
Do you know why, Rico? Do you know why I don't go on a lot of panel shows anymore? It's because there are people with really silly arguments like what you're giving now. You've turned around and told me that the metric of sport basically isn't winning trophies. That's basically what you've said. I can't use the trophy. Rico, you said I can't use the trophy argument, right? Trophies are how you measure success. When you look at your club's history, whether it's Arsenal, Spurs, Everton, Chelsea, whoever, City, Preston, North End, whoever, everyone is judged by what have they done in their history, right? This chairman has had so many opportunities to kick this football club on and hasn't. What this chairman has done has made us a financial powerhouse, right? A financial powerhouse. Absolutely, he has. But in terms of, are we better than when he took over? What? What? You can't answer me what we're better at.
So
he's come here and
used
us. He's used us as a cash cow. And he told us he was going to do it.
Can I prove to you why he's definitely improved you?
You can try. You can't prove to me. You can try.
So the last caller,
the
last caller was criticizing Postecoglou. I've heard your fans criticizing Postecoglou, a lot of your fans, right? Don't get me. I think Postecoglou is an absolute fraud. I do really believe. I think he'll be sacked soon. I don't think he'll be sacked soon, right? But if he finished 5th last season, and you guys are saying this, I think 5th is a respectable position for Spurs. If he finishes at 5th again, your fans are not going to be happy. Daniel Levy is the reason you have that expectation. You was talking earlier saying, "Oh, it's true." You was talking earlier saying we should have got Rafinha.
Rico, I can't take you seriously.
Sav,
when you're
I'm not
telling,
being disrespectful, but wait. Can I just land this right? When you said earlier, I was saying our fans we should have got Rafinha, and this is no disrespect, genuinely. But like, what makes you think Rafinha is going to go to Spurs over Barcelona? Genuinely. He's not. Daniel Levy's having to compete with powerhouses.
So let me tell you then. This is the problem, Rico. This is where you show your lack of knowledge, right? This is unfortunate for you that I know Tottenham inside out. Right? You've come onto a Spurs channel with an honest Spurs fan who knows this club inside out for decades.
I agree. You
do you want to know why we expect Rafinha's? Why we expect to be trying to win things? Do you want to know why?
Yeah, I really
because Daniel Levy promised it. Because Daniel Levy promised it. When we were building this stadium and we were told, be patient. When we win this stadium, it's going to be when we build this stadium, it's going to be a game changer, he said. This stadium's going to allow us to compete, he said. This stadium's going to allow us to get better players, he said. These are all things that came out of Daniel Levy's mouth. Fans like me sat there and went, shut up, Daniel. We all know you're lying. We all know you're lying. Other fans went, oh my God, we're going to compete. So now we've got the stadium. Now he's charging our fans nearly £100 for a game of football and £130 or whatever it is for a Spurs shirt, right? Now he's got the NFL, the boxing, the concerts, the Formula One track. Now he's got all these endorsements. Now Spurs fans, and damn right, Spurs fans have a right to do this, is say, right, where's our, by the way, Rafinha, this shouldn't even be a benchmark, but we're saying, where's our Rafinha? Where's our better player than Archie Gray and Bergvall? Because we're charged the earth. We were told, be patient. We were told, you're going to move to Wembley for a couple of years. But don't worry. When you've moved, this is what I'm going to do for you. And the chairman hasn't come through on any of his promises. Instead, he is balancing the books. What he did this summer, and again, this is how I'm going to cook you here completely. You don't know what you're talking about. This summer, what this guy did was balance our books by getting rid of nearly £30 million in wages and bringing in kids instead to balance the books because he's got no ambition. So when you sit there and go, you've only got ambition because of Daniel Levy, I've got ambition in spite of Daniel Levy. So please don't ever rock up to my show. Never tell me about my chairman. Never, ever have the audacity to mock me and the other Spurs fans to our face by telling us how great our chairman is when this is the worst trophy drought in our club's history. Please don't pretend to know our club, our owners, the promises made, because I will school you every single time, Rico. If going from 9th to 6th over a 25-year period is a measure of success to you over trophies, which are a measure of success to me, then you've got what you deserve at Arsenal by not winning titles as well.
Oh, that's a cheap shot, Sav. That's a cheap shot, Sav. But I'll just say this, right? Because
you said trophies aren't a measure of success.
No, I didn't say they're not a measure of success. I said there's when you're pointing to me as 25 years before, and then this 25 years. I'm saying there's context as to why obviously you've won a bit more trophies. But I've also said Daniel Levy you guys should have won more trophies. Yes, that's definitely.
Do you know why there is context why we won more trophies?
That, but I'm just saying, why don't you point out the good stuff he's done and how he's actually improved your club? You guys,
I'm waiting for you to give me an answer other than going from 9th to 6th as an average league position. Give me the good he's done for me as a football fan. I don't support stadiums. I don't support spreadsheets. I don't support Excel. So tell me, as a football fan, what has my chairman done for me?
So like I said, he's made the best Spurs team I've ever seen in my entire life. He's bought you. I know you're gonna laugh again. You're not gonna like it. But
what Spurs team?
The Spurs team with Pochettino. That's the best Spurs team I've ever seen in my life. Please do not say that Spurs team that won the League Cup is a better team because they won the League Cup. Because that means.
Can I ask you a question, Rico?
So is the United team that won the FA Cup last season better than?
Can I ask you a question?
They won the
FA
Cup.
How old are you?
No, it's not.
How old are you?
Me. I'm 33.
Okay, so I'm 41. I've seen better teams than what Pochettino had.
You name me a team.
I can tell you the team of the mid 80s, the team of the late 80s, the team at the early 90s in the 1991 when we won the FA Cup is superior to Poch's team that won nothing.
I'm saying modern day.
Okay, but again, you want to pick and choose. You want to pick and choose.
I'm telling you, it's the best Spurs team in modern day that I've seen. I said that I've seen. I didn't say you've seen. I said the best Spurs team that I've seen.
It was a good Spurs team that failed, right? It was a good Spurs team that failed.
You're saying that team failed.
What did it win?
This is what I mean, Sav. You're spoiled. You are spoiled. How can you? Who are Spurs to say that
you can't
genuinely?
Rico, you cannot call Spurs fans spoiled in any way, shape, or form. What did that Spurs team achieve?
It gave you. It's the best Spurs team ever. It didn't achieve in the end, yes, but I don't. No.
Rico, do you know what? This is why you can't debate. You can't answer questions. What did that team achieve?
It's not a yes or no question, Sav.
I didn't say it was a yes or no. I'm asking for an answer. What did that team achieve?
So it didn't achieve trophies. I agree with you. It's a loaded question. So I'll answer for you. It didn't achieve trophies, but you cannot say it failed. No way.
Of course I can.
They didn't win the
because
league.
What's the measure of success? What's the measure of success to you?
But it's not the same for every club. Not Spurs. The measure of success is not trophies. I'll be honest with you.
What's the measure of success?
For Spurs, it's not trophies.
When we have a
The
team
same
as
way
good
for
as
West
that,
Brom. No, for West Brom,
I don't
being in
support
the
West
Premier
Brom.
League is success.
I don't support West Brom. I don't
For
support West.
Brighton, top 8 is success.
Do
For
you know how
Spurs,
I know you're losing? You're losing the debate because you're now bringing in smaller clubs than Tottenham Hotspur.
I'm
You're
giving you
losing the
examples.
debate.
I'm giving you
Rico,
examples.
You said it's the best Spurs team we've had, right?
Yeah.
So I asked you, what did it achieve? You can't tell me what it achieved.
Because they didn't. Yeah, I agree with you. They didn't win anything. Yeah.
Right. So is that team as successful as the team in 08?
It's a better team than the team in 08.
Is it as successful?
No. With trophies wise, no. But it's a better team.
Is it as successful as the team in 1999?
No, it's not. No.
Is it as successful or better than the team in 1991?
No. But now, could you answer my questions? Is it a better
Hang
team?
on. It was a better team at what?
There you go. Is it just a better football team?
No, it didn't achieve anything.
And also, can I answer? No, can I answer as well? Because you made a point about the he said that we're gonna sign this player. Every chairman lies, Sav. If that's what you're gonna hold against them, then every fan should have a something against their chairman. Like, we got told we were gonna be Bayern Munich. Man United have heard a lot of stuff from Ineos.
Hang on, Rico, how long you had your chairman?
Our chairman. Well, our current one actually not long, but I'm talking about the Cronkies. They said they've been here a while.
Do you know the difference, Rico? This is the difference. Tottenham, as far as I'm aware, and especially in the Premier League, have had the longest serving chairman, definitely in the Premier League, and if not one of the most. Anyone in the chat, can you tell me? Are there any chairmen out there that have run
Daniel
their
Levy is the
club?
longest.
Hang on, Rico. I'm speaking to my audience.
I'm answering. I'll answer it.
Right? Is there any chairman out there, audience, that have run their club or been at their club longer than 2001? Because Rico, this is the difference. When you're sitting there saying to me, "Oh, well, everyone can say their chairman have failed," our chairman's had quarter of a decade to sort this out.
I'm not saying every chairman lies, every owner lies. They all lie. They say a lot of stuff. Like,
sure, but not every chairman does that whilst raking in the hundreds of millions of pounds a year that Daniel Levy does, whilst charging us what he does. Huge difference. He's
also put that back into the club, but he just spent it wrong. But he has also put it back into the club.
Rico,
he's not just raking it in for no reason.
Rico, again, this is where you don't know what you're talking about. You think Daniel Levy's put that money back into the club, do you?
Are you saying Spurs haven't spent money?
Listen to the way I phrased the question. Listen to the way.
Yeah, I showed this to you last time, Sam.
Listen to the way I'm phrasing the question. Do you think Daniel Levy's putting in money to this club?
Well, not his own money, but he.
Right. They're not putting their money into our club. They are taking money. They are making money off this club. But you're acting like he's done us a favor. We have made this man a billionaire. Tottenham Hotspur has made this man a billionaire.
Yeah, what's wrong with him making money? You can't make
nothing.
Money. He's a businessman, Sam.
Rico, nothing. But I'll go back to the question I asked you. For me, as a football fan, not a finance fan, not a fan of stadiums, what has he done for me as a football fan?
So, like I said to you, he's bought you the best Spurs team you've ever seen.
No. The best Spurs team you've ever seen, not me.
Okay, I've seen in modern day.
I'm not you, Rico.
For most people in the chat, it's the best Spurs team they've ever seen. It's got you to the point where genuinely you can ask for Ange Postecoglou out, even though he finished 5th last season.
Sorry, he's got me to the point where I can ask for a crap manager to be sacked.
How can you say he finished 5th last season, Sav?
So what? Do you want him?
To Ange Postecoglou? No, I think he's awful. But I'm saying 5th for Spurs is not a bad season.
Hang on. You see what I mean? You just sat there and said, he did 5th last season. You want him sacked? Okay, you have him. No, we don't want him. He's a fraud. Why is he a fraud then?
Because, Sav, like I said, explained to you before, that 5th is not good enough for Arsenal. But 5th is, I honestly think it's not a bad season for Spurs. That's my honest opinion.
And Rico, the fact that 24 years into this man's ownership, other fan bases think that 5th is still good tells you he has not progressed our club. Game, set, match. If you're going to come on and...
You can be for 100 years. Financially, you still can't compete with Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, those kind of clubs. You just can't compete, Sav. You're going to have to accept it. I know it hurts. Sav, it hurts me as well that we can't compete with those teams. But it's something you have to accept.
No,
Rico.
You're
always going to be upset. I guarantee
Rico,
you, Sam,
no,
you
no.
will get another owner that you like,
Rico,
and he will
I'm
will
not-
do the same thing. If
I'm
not
not
worse, with
upset.
Levy.
No, Rico, I'm not upset. Just
Yeah.
because I'm schooling you in a debate doesn't make me upset.
I don't
Again,
think you've schooled me at all, Sam.
Rico, again, you've just shown you don't know anything about Tottenham Hotspur. You've just said we can't compete financially with those bigger clubs.
No, not financially. Just as a club, you can't.
Rico, let me finish. Change the word again. The things you're saying are disingenuous and factually incorrect. You're coming without the facts, right?
Yeah.
Spurs can't compete or won't compete. Which one?
So over Levy's whole tenure, you cannot compete with those clubs. You can't. That's a fact.
Spurs
Only now you started spending money again.
Rico, Spurs now are the 6th richest club in the world. Won't
Who's that
or
thanks
can't?
to? Who's that thanks to, Sav?
Won't or can't?
But who's that thanks to, Sav?
Won't or can't? You can't answer questions. Won't or
No,
can't?
but he has spent money, Sav.
Rico, answer the question or I'll boot you off. You're not answering questions. Won't.
It's not. He's still no question, Sav.
Rico, won't compete or can't compete?
Can't compete.
That's how I know you're full of shit. So I'm going to ask you to leave.
Sav.
No, Rico, no, sorry. No, you're trolling now.
I'm not trolling, Sav. All the Spurs fans in the chat always say I'm trolling. I'm not trolling. I'm being
Rico,
honest.
Rico, I'm telling you how you're trolling because you're lying. Spurs are so wealthy, it is unbelievable. And fans like you have been brainwashed that we can't compete. We won't.
I'm saying over Levy's whole tenure, because you won't let me get a word out. That's why you're not listening to me. I'm saying over Levy's whole tenure as a whole, you cannot compete with those clubs. Today, yes, Spurs can compete with those clubs, and you have been spending money.
So why don't we? No. Again, if you're going to come at it, Rico, again, this is where look. Everyone in the chat's getting annoyed because you don't know Spurs. You're showing time and time again you don't understand our club. You don't understand. You know the money. You know the money that gets spent is what we recoup on player sales.
You do know if he really was as unambitious as he says, he wouldn't have to spend that money.
Of course he'd have to spend that money or we'd get relegated. Of course he'd have to spend money.
No, he can obviously choose how much money Spurs pay. He can obviously choose that. The you do know Man United the Glazers don't put in any of their own money. Same as the Kroenkes, they don't put in any of their own money. It's the club's money. Every club does that now, Sav. Even City's owners now don't put in their own money.
I don't care. You
can choose not to care because it doesn't help your point, but it's the facts.
It does help my point. You don't know my football club. You don't know my football club.
I know your football club.
Rico,
I know the reality of your football club, and I think you're uncomfortable with the reality of your football club. Same with all the Spurs fans in the chat.
Rico, if you're going to start chatting shit, mate, I'll just get rid of you. I'm uncomfortable with the reality. I'm comfortable with the reality
as well.
Rico,
it's true.
Let me talk, Rico. I am comfortable with the reality. It's people like you calling in, trying to distort that reality, which is winding me up. You keep coming in with these stats. You started with 10 years. Then when I dispel your myth, your 10-year stat was so bad, it's embarrassing. Oh my God. In 10 years before he came, you said in 10 years we finished top half. How many times?
5 times.
5. And in the 10 years after Daniel Levy, how many times did we finish top half?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm actually not sure.
3 or 2. So your 10-year thing is ridiculous, right? He's been here 24 years. If anyone is at a football club or at a business for 24 years and the success is worse than when you joined it, you have failed. From a business point of view, he's done brilliantly for Enoch and for Daniel Levy. For Tottenham fans, he's done nothing. He's done nothing for me as a football fan. I go to the Spurs stadium. It's not a football experience anymore. He's changed that experience to an adventure day out. He's killed the soul of this club for money. So please don't ever come at me. He's gone. Thank God he's gone. Sorry, people in the chat. I can't deal with people who don't know Spurs being stupid like that. I can't deal with it. You know, and I think the key thing for me was, oh, you want Ange out? Cool. Do you want Ange? No, we don't want him. Like Arsenal are the barometer of success. Anyway, big up to everyone in the chat. Please do smash the like button. Please do subscribe. Guys and girls, look at that. 4 away from 14K. Please smash that button. Eugene, I'm going to be bringing you on in about 30 seconds, my friend. Listen, each to their own. I'm happy for people to come on from any club, from any fan base and have a chat. But when I've got fans telling me that the chairman that has made this club the least successful it's ever been in its history and telling me that I should be grateful for that, I just can't. I can't be having it. And I'll school people of that all day, every day. Maybe he should go to an Arsenal channel. Eugene, big up, my man. How you doing, bro? You okay?
I'm good, man. How are you? Are you well? I'm glad to see you back. Hopefully everything's good.
Yes, I am. I feel like I'm going to get ill again after that last caller in, but
that was too much even for me. I was
fun.
Angry. My blood was boiling, but it's nonsense. The guy's a troll for sure, or he's really delusional. It's one of it. You know, it's
all right. I just like the way that he came at me with, okay, we're only allowed to use the 10 years before Levy. But then his actual stat, the first 10 years with Levy, weren't better than the 10 years before from a league. But it just makes me laugh. Anyway, Eugene, what do you want to talk about, my man? What's going on?
Oh, man. You know, I'm waiting until tomorrow. I'm actually excited for the cup game. I have super low expectations. So either way, I'm not going to get, too stressed.
Very Spursy.
Oh, for sure. I mean, but you know how it is. But you know me, I'm an edge defender. And actually, I had a question for you before we go on. I'm an American. English is my second language. So I have a question for you about terminology.
Say that again. Did you say your what and what language? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
First, I'm from America. I'm from the States. And secondly, English is my second language. So I want to align with you on terminologies and, what's the difference between context and excuses, right? Because you say make excuses sometimes. So just a question so that we're aligned on definitions.
Yeah, look, that's a bloody good question. I suppose it depends in what scenario we're talking about. Look, excuses for me are when it's the same thing over and over and over and over again, right? So, for example, if I'm going to say, look, Spurs' away form is dreadful, right? Which is factual, right? It is our away form is terrible. If somebody then comes back at me and goes, oh, but, now it becomes an excuse. Context to that would be, yeah, our away form is terrible, but the last 10 away games we've played have all been against Man City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. I know they haven't been, but that would be context.
Right.
But when, for example, your away form has been crap for nearly 20 away games, the context is we're just bad away from home. Does that make sense? And people in the chat, if I'm wrong?
It makes sense. It's just interesting how people, and again, I'm not talking about you, just in general, right? The way fans debate and argue. When people make an argument, they say, oh, but context. But if they don't like an argument, they say, oh, but it's an excuse. It's just interesting how this works, right? And so that's kind of...
Yeah, look,
I bring that up.
Eugene, it's the same as anything, right? Look, me and you disagree on. We disagree on a lot of football, but I think it's all about how things are positioned. So I am a very factual, evidential person, right? So, for example, in the world of football, if someone comes to me and says, "Oh, I really like Ange, I think he's done really well," I'm the sort of person that's going to throw back, "How? Show me, not your fit, not you. I'm not talking about you, but the royal you, not your feelings, but show me why." But I live by my own words. So if someone says to me, "Oh, Savva, you don't rate Ange," and I say no, and they go, "Why not?" I go, "I just don't." You never see me do that, would you, Eugene? You'd never see me just go, "I just feel it." I try to come with facts and with evidence, and hey, this is why. Equally, if Spurs won 15, 14 of their next 20 away games, equally, I'll be sitting there going, wow, look at this away form. Factually, look how good it is. Not my feelings. And the problem is for me, when debates are based on feelings over facts, they make for excitement. It makes really good for the people in the chat, but it doesn't make it a true debate. For example, last week on a channel, I saw two people, they were debating. What were they debating? It was Mo Salah versus Bukayo Saka. And funnily enough, it was a Liverpool fan and an Arsenal fan, right? So I sat there and I thought to myself, well, straight away, we're not going to get any truth here because they're both just going to go, oh my God, I'm Arsenal, Saka, Saka, Saka. Oh, I'm Liverpool, Salah, Salah, Salah. We all know who's had the better career. Now, you can look at ages, you can look at whatever you... At the moment, Mo Salah's had a much better career than Bukayo Saka. He's won everything. He scores goals consistently. He assists consistently. He's been in the bracket of 30, 35, 40 goals a season for the last 6-7 years. Straight away, you go, right, Mo Salah's the better player. Bukayo Saka's a very good player, but needs to hit those levels. I didn't see anybody arguing like that. What they were doing, Eugene, it was just all heart. But he's brilliant. Without him, we're shit. And he's brilliant. And we've there's no facts, there's no evidence. So hopefully that answers the question in a bit of detail.
Yeah, as I said before, these debates, especially when fans debate their own teams or players, 99.9% of the time is just feelings and emotions, and it doesn't go anywhere. But the last guy just, pretending like he knows anything about Spurs and just talking complete nonsense. That's, I'm still angry. But we move. So the reason why I brought this up, because I remember last year when everybody criticized Ange about the high line and the suicide tactics. And I think I argued with you about it. I'm like, hey, everybody said that, let's say Villa, they have a very good team, much better, well, not much better roster constructions than we do. Or Unai Emery is a better manager, everybody says, and I agree. But if you look at their stats, they gave up the same amount of goals as we did. So when I said that, people came back at me saying, hey, but they played more games, context. I'm like, okay, cool. But if we're doing this, then I can use this. I can say, well, Spurs had all these injuries. That's context too. You can, one thing is context and another thing is excuses, right? I think we just got to look at things in the same way. If it's context that Villa played more games and thus they were more tired and gave up the same amount of goals, then our injuries and us not getting top 4 because of those injuries is also context. It's not just as an excuse. And by the way, I'm not using that in my arguments. I'm just saying in general, right?
Sure. I mean, look, there's a lot to unpack there. By the way, for anyone interested, Sheffield Wednesday have equalised at Brentford. Gassama has scored. For anyone that cares. And for anyone that cares, we are 1 subscriber away from 14,000, which again doesn't mean anything to you lot, but for me, it's quite a big deal. There's a lot of hard work to this channel. Well, we're not there yet. We'll get there. Hopefully, we'll get there. I bet you we end the show 2 or 3 short. But listen, I think the difficulty is this. If we use the Spurs versus Villa scenario, look, the thing is with Aston Villa is last year they did play a lot of games. Aston Villa did play, like they were playing every Thursday, every Sunday, every Thursday, every Sunday. And they played something like 17 European games. Somebody in the chat, if you could fact check that for me, I think it might have been 15, 16, something like that. That's a lot. And the thing is, when we talk about the injuries, Spurs fans make out like we were the only team that had injuries. Aston Villa could turn around and go, well, they played the whole season without Tyrone Mings, who was their captain and their main centre-half. They played a whole season without Tyrone Mings. Yeah? Last season, they played nearly a whole season without Buendia, who was one of their main attacking midfielders. Leon Bailey had 3 or 4 months out last year as well. So they had players missing. We had players missing. The big thing for me is Spurs had all their players fit for the second half of the season. From January onwards, we had everyone fit. And that coincided with our worst form. So it's not always an exact science, right? You have your best players, you're going to win. It's obviously helps to have them. And look, I just think the difference is Aston Villa are going to get more praise because in the last 2-3 years, they've done exceptionally well from where they were. The problem with Tottenham is we've not. Aston Villa have gone like that as a football club. Spurs are just like that. And that's the difficulty with this. So look, I get it. We can twist it.
You're right. I agree.
All we want.
I agree with you. And yeah, I mean, my biggest, and honestly, you and we agree on probably 88.5% of things, right? It's just, for me, I know Ange, you're not happy with the way he manages, and, that's cool. I agree. For me, though, I'm seeing the same patterns and the same trends continue regardless of who the manager is, right? Under Conte, we were losing to West Ham, Southampton, all these games where the players just did not turn up. Under Jose, for a decade, I know, you know more than me. I'm a bit older than you, and I've been following sports, all kinds of sports, all my life. And I know that championship teams, great teams, they do not rely on managers or coaches to inspire them, right? They have a group of players that hold each other accountable. And for decades, we've been missing those players. And ultimately, the ownership charts the direction of the club. We talked about the transfers, and I know people are saying, well, we spend money and this and that. For me, the transfer budget or the transfer money spent is not as relevant as the wages, right? We can look at inflation. We can spend money, $40-50 million on kids, but what matters is the wages. No top player will join the Spurs until we start paying top wages. And I don't care how much Levy spends transfer-wise, until we pay a $300K a week to a top player, nothing's going to change. So when people say, well, Ange wanted this player or that player, every manager is constrained to what's been given. And the patterns and the trends with the players doubting tools have been happening under every single manager. So until we get the right players and the top players, getting Ange out and bringing in Ancelotti when he went to Everton, he didn't just get stupid. It just, it's the players. If we bring in Ancelotti, we're not going to win. So for me, it's like, hey, I'm just tired of going through, the rinse and repeat. Let's give Ange this year, see if he can win a cup.
Look,
and next year,
Eugene, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with anything you've just said. In essence, first and foremost, I think when fans say to each other, "Give the manager this time," it's not our decision. Do you know what I mean? As you'll see, I don't sit here and go Ange out, Ange out, Ange out. I don't rate him. Everyone knows I don't rate him, but there's no point sitting here going Ange out, Ange out, Ange out. Yes, anyone's going to be hamstrung by wages, but do you know what? We pay 200K a week to Tungo Ndombele. We're paying Timo Werner 165 grand a week. There are players that are paid well. We just seem to keep picking and choosing the wrong players to do it with. The difference is, I'd love to see, again, I can't do this right now while we're on screen. I'd love to see what are Villa paying their players. Are Villa paying better wages than Spurs? Because Villa have gone on a better squad. Now, I'm not saying we can't beat Villa in a one-off game, but when I look at the strength and depth that Villa are bringing off their bench compared to what we're bringing off our bench, theirs is superior to ours, right? Now, no one's going to tell me that I could be proven wrong. Someone in the chat will always prove you wrong. It's the worst thing about being live. I can't imagine that anyone at Villa is going to be on 200 grand a week. I might be wrong, but listen, I agree with you in essence. And do you know, can I tell you where half my issue with this comes from, Eugene? If we're going to be brutally honest, and I shoot from the hip and I talk from the heart. It's you and I both know we're not good enough to win a league or challenge for a league title. Is that fair?
Of course.
Right. You and I both know the limitations that are on this squad, right? But it's the thousands of fans out there that convince themselves otherwise and then call fans like me negative for not living in that delusion. That pisses me off more than you know. And what I mean by that is last year, all year, I was told, we're going to win a title. We're going to win a title. We're going to win the title. And I'm sitting there as one of the very few people, right, going, we're not going to win the title. I don't even think we're going to get Champions League. Oh, you're negative. You're a terrible fan. Just believe. Because believing is apparently what all you need to do in life to succeed, which isn't true, right? So all of those fans were wrong last year when they said it. And it's not about, oh, I was right, you were wrong. But what pisses me off is, Eugene, they didn't learn. Those very same fans didn't learn from that, have got overexcited again this summer with a very average transfer window, have got very excited again when we beat crap like Karabag, Ferencvaros, Coventry, right? And what they then do is start going crazy at people like me, people like Stell, people like Mr. Box Office and Danny, people who wear their heart on their sleeve and go, hang on, we're not as good as you think, right? We're then called negative. But what these fans then do is the moment it starts going wrong, the moment we're 8th in the league and we've lost 4 out of 9, it's now all of a sudden it's, oh, but the players, but the salaries, but the transfer window. And you're like, well, hang on. We were saying these things. People like me and Stell were saying the things that people are saying now, and we were told we were bad fans. Now that these fans have finally realized and are saying, hang on, maybe we're not as good as we thought, and maybe you need time, and maybe we're not ready. Now it's acceptable for them to do that. But at the time when fans like me and Stell were saying it, we were the worst people in the world. We're negative. You're pessimist. I see people in the chat now. You're always pessimistic. I'm not. I'm realistic. This squad isn't winning a title. Just believe, Savva. No squad with Timo Werner, Brennan Johnson, right? No squad with Wilson Odobert, Solanke. No, those players don't win titles. So all I've tried to do, and what I've sorry, this has turned into a bit of a vent and a rant, Eugene. All I've ever tried to do on my channel is keep it real. I've tried to be real, and because of that, death threats. Because of that, my wife is called a whore. Because of that, I'm a fake Spurs fan. Because of that, abuse. And you know what? At the end of the day, everything we talked about has come true because we didn't get carried away. So, fine, Ange can have the season. But I wasn't the one telling everyone that Ange is going to win everything. I'm not the one telling people that Ange is different. Ange is generational. Ange is special. Those people who got it very wrong are now backtracking, digging holes, making videos now because things aren't going well. Whilst other fans like me, I'm not surprised by what we're seeing because I predicted it. So I just get so fed up with this fan base living in denial. I'm so fed up with all these fans from Australia, for example, not all of them, but coming over and, oh, you don't know Ange. No, you don't know Tottenham Hotspur. Don't you come to me, 41 years of supporting Spurs, and you're telling me that your manager that's never managed in a top league is going to take my football club and make them title winners. Rant over. Sorry.
No, hey, spot on. No, I mean, I agree with you. And just going back quickly about, when you talked about Villa, or when we talked about Villa, and I think Spurs and Villa are in the same group, right? We are competing with Villa for top 4. That's it. They have no chance of winning the league, and we have no chance of winning the league. So that's why my expectations going into the season is like, hey, what I expected is I want to see some improvement from last year, and I want us to go all in for the Cups. That's it. And with the fans, you have to look at it from the perspective, if somebody is just having a hard time at home or at work, they just want to, watch the Spurs game and they want to be hopeful and they want to be in denial, even though deep inside, we're not going to win. But football is a getaway from all this other crap that's happening. So they want to be positive. They want to see positive content, which I get. It doesn't. But I honestly think 85 or 90% of the fans, they know who Spurs are. They know that if we sign Wilson, Odegaard, and Timo, we have no chance. The only
so let me ask you a question, Eugene.
Is getting lucky.
All those people that want to see positive content, get it. Do you not think I want to be sitting here and going, wow, what a summer. Wow, look at those transfers. Bloody hell, I think we could do something. Right? I want to be doing that. But the difference is I won't sell my soul to YouTube. I can sit here and name a million people. Not a million. That's a massive exaggeration. I could sit here and name loads of YouTubers, Spurs, not Spurs. They've sold their soul to YouTube and they're doing it for a job. Fair play to them. They're there to make the money. This isn't my full-time job.
Right.
I'm out here and I promised myself and everyone around me, when I go onto YouTube, I'm going to be honest. And I knew when doing that. Would that make my channel as big as others? No, I knew that. Would that get me some abuse? Yes, I knew that. But I've never changed. I've never, ever changed from my belief, right? I've never changed from my belief that I will tell the truth. I will tell the honest truth. Do I think Spurs are going to lose every game of football? No. Do I think we're going to win every game? No. So because of that, I don't just come on before every game and go, we're going to win today, winning today, winning today, winning. For me, it's dull. For me, that's not football debate, Eugene. Do you know what I mean? I think like some people get into this because they want to, some channels, they're very small. They use it more as a get together every day, have a chat, have a laugh, knock yourselves out. Right? That's brilliant. I love it. And some of those channels I go to chill and relax. Like I will go and sit and watch Ben and Coover and Bobby K because it's fun, it's chilled, it's relaxed.
Right. Exactly.
Other channels, like me, I started it. I want to debate football. I'm not coming on here for fun. Like, I'll have fun, but I'm not coming on here for how is everyone. I'm coming to debate football. I want to talk about football. So if people like that, they're here. And listen, first of all, thank you to everybody that's just got me to 14K. I really, really appreciate it. We have just got over 14K. They're the people I want to be. I want them to be proud of my channel. I know that sounds really silly. I want them to watch my channel and go, you know what? I might not agree 100% with Savva, but he's real. I don't want anyone to ever turn around and go, Savva's a flip-flop. Savva's this. Savva's that. I'm not. You ask me a question, you get an honest answer, right? About anything.
And by the way, I know we're supposed to debate, but I just want to say, big kind of what you touched on. I think there are a lot of positive fans who have agendas, who don't look at the reality, and they're always positive. And the same thing about the negative fans, right? Big up to you. Even again, we've argued in the past. We've had some heated arguments, but I do believe like you come from the right place. So big up to you for that. That's my 2 cents.
No,
but
I appreciate that.
Yeah, going back to what we said, like I think it's the expectations. Again, for me, if we get a lucky draw like United did last year or the year before, we can win a cup. I want to win the Europa, but the league. Honestly, I can care less. We can finish 12th, 13th, 14th. I know Ange will get sacked by Levy.
Right.
That's the issue. Yeah. That's the whole issue.
I agree with you.
Sacked right before the final too, like Jose did.
This is the problem. This is the problem. And again, it comes back to what I was having a chat with a previous caller. Daniel Levy, we can all sit here as Spurs and we all, the hypotheticals that get asked. So people go, Sav, would you take 12th in an FA Cup? Yeah. Daniel Levy don't want 12th in an FA Cup. I can assure you of that. Daniel Levy don't want 12th in an FA Cup because 12th gets him less money in the league and the FA Cup doesn't automatically qualify you for the Champions League. So this is the very big difference between, again, what the owners want, what the fans want, right? Now, I'm not saying I don't want to win a league title. Of course I do. I'm also very honest that we're not going to win a league title. But look, I agree with you. Winning trophies is about the luck of the draw, right? Now, some might say it's
sorry, Savva. I don't want to interrupt, but again, so from your perspective, if you pick any manager that you like, what difference would that manager make on Spurs? I know we might win 1 or 2 games, but do you actually feel like another manager, whoever it may be, would actually change where the club is heading and would actually make a difference, not just for 1 year winning the League Cup, but actually for the next decade? And my issue is, I don't think so. And that's why I'm kind of, hey, let's just see what happens. But I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Question. It's a great question. And after this, I will have to get Hassan on, and he'll be the last person. He's been very patient. Hassan, I'll get you on in 1 second, man. And then you will be the last person, because if I don't spend any time with my wife tonight, then Football Heritage TV will be no more, because I'll be dead somewhere. Look. I think half of when we talk about football, people are always assuming what the other person's opinion is about. And hear me out on this. For example, if I sit here right now, which isn't a lie, and I say I don't rate Ange, do you know what the most common response to me is in my comments section, Eugene? My most common response is, who do we bring in that wins the league then? It's like, whoa. I never said I expect Ange to win a league. I didn't say I don't rate Ange because he's not winning a league title. I don't rate Ange because of his management, right? I don't rate Ange because, for me, I want a manager. We're like the 5th, 6th best team in the country. I want a manager that understands that and sets out for different games with different tactics and understands how you counter against this team versus that team. That's what I want. Me, Richard Savva, no one else. I only speak for me and that French Bulldog. That's who I speak for, right? At the end of the day, that's what I want. But the misconception from people is always, well, who are you going to bring in that's going to automatically win things? Like, whoa. I'm not saying you said this, but I don't think anyone automatically wins things. I do think, though, that the squad is better than what we're seeing. I do. I genuinely do. I genuinely feel that this squad is set up for wing-backs, as we've talked about loads of times. I genuinely feel that this squad is set up for James Maddison to have a number 10 role, an actual number 10 role, not a dropping into midfield, not a let's have him tracking back and kicking people in defense, a playmaker role. I genuinely think that this squad isn't cut out for wingers, but we keep buying loads of them. So for me, I think a new manager gets better out of the club, and I think we should be right in the top 4 conversation, not guaranteed, but with a better manager. For me, I just don't think this manager is good enough. I won't apologize for that. I don't like how he conducts himself. I find him really rude, really arrogant, and there's nothing about him that makes me go, that's my manager. There's nothing about him that makes me go, I'm proud that this is the Tottenham manager. Other people might love him. I'm not telling them not to, Eugene. I'm not telling them not. I'm not saying, oh, you like Ange, go on, F off. No. Love him. People can go and love him, but they tell me I should, and I just don't. I just don't rate the bloke in any way, shape.
That's fair. I mean, I like him as a person, but I'm just so sick of our ceiling as a club being 4th or 3rd best team in the country, and that's it. And it doesn't matter who we bring in, that's our ceiling. And we can argue about tactics, this and that, until the ownership changes, until we start paying wages just like other top 4 clubs. Nothing is going to change. And that's my frustration. So I'm
and I agree with you on that. If we're going to have the macro conversation instead of the micro one about what manager needs to come in with what backing to win a title, now we've got a different conversation. But for me, I'm talking about,
it's like consistently competing for titles, right? Like Arsenal. Yes, we can banter them for not winning, but hey, if we're fighting for a title year in, year out, for me, that's good enough. If we're in the conversation, that's all I want.
I completely agree with you. For me, I just can't sit here and watch this constant up and down. Yeah. And the thing is, the fans go with it. I'm quite rigid with my opinion on it. Like when we win a game, I don't go, oh my God, we're amazing. When we lose a game, I don't go, we're shit. I'm just not impressed in general. If we beat Man City tomorrow night, you watch how many people will act as though we've won a league title. Right? People beat Man City from time to time. Right? That shouldn't be the benchmark. Consistency should. But look, Eugene, love having you on. Big up. Thank you very much for your support and take care. Thank you very much. Hassan, I'm going to bring you on in 1 second, my man. Just let me quickly get to Samuel Gra. Big up to you, Samuel, who has said, congratulations on 14K, Savva. You deserve it and more. Do you know what, Samuel? Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I, in my head, believe I should be on like 70K. No, maybe 20. We'll get to 20. Actually, let's get to 15 and then we'll move forward. But big up to you, Samuel. Really appreciate that. Big up to George, who's always here, always being very nice, always promoting the show as well. Said, here's to the next 14K. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard. You're calling me Richard now. Thank you, Richard. Come on, you Spurs. Please don't all start calling me Richard. You're all going to now that I've said that. And Philip Randall has said, love the honest and open views. Great to hear. Philip, thank you very much for your support. Really generous super chat. So thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate you. And I am going to bring on the last caller of the evening. Hassan, how are you doing? Thank you for being patient.
All good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't normally come on to YouTube to try and debate stuff or do that, but I thought, I mean, just partly because I'm in Australia, so typically all the shows are like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. So
do you hate me? Are you one of the Aussies who hate me?
No.
Is there a photo of me at the airport with like, if you see this man, don't let him in. He
just
doesn't
a big
like
red
that.
cross across it.
Yeah.
Can't confirm nor deny. For me, I think I haven't been a Spurs fan for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I'm barely 21 myself. But I think in the short time that I have been, I've learned a lot about the club, the ownership, how it's run, what to expect.
Yeah.
And I think the problem that we find ourselves in now is the problem we found ourselves in towards the end of Conte's era. It's the problem we found ourselves in towards the end of Jose's era. It's the problem we found ourselves in 2 months into Nuno's era. It's the same thing where we'll get a new manager, right? And he'll talk differently, he'll act differently, maybe he'll play differently with Ange. And because we're so devoid of feeling connected to the club, we'll go, that's the guy. And he'll go and do something and we'll finish in the top 6. And it's, if this summer is XYZ, I think we can push on. Ultimately, the summer is not XYZ, it's about X.5. And we then fall flat. And then we have the conversation about getting a new manager. And look, I am not Ange out, but I can understand people that are. I don't think it's silly to say you want him gone. But the problem for me is it's always going to be a short-term solution.
Sure.
So let's say we sack him. And I don't know. Let's just say, for example, not that I want him, but let's just say we get Thomas Frank. I don't know. People talk about him. We get him in. He might solidify us. We might play differently. The wing backs might actually, be wing backs, etc. And we finish 5th.
Yep.
Right? People will be like, wow. Now let's go and sign a top defensive midfielder for him. Let's go and sign a better right winger for him. And then we won't. And then he'll struggle next season.
Yeah.
And then we'll be like, well,
eat, sleep, and repeat.
He's not getting the best out of the squad. Let's get him gone. And so for me, it's probably more for you than for me, because you said, you've been a Spurs fan for 41 years in the recent times. It's just tiring, I think, to get involved so much with the manager, to know that he's not going to get back, that something's going to fail.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we're just supposed to just let it happen and be, let's go from here. And that's kind of where I'm at with that situation.
Look, listen, I completely get it. I do agree with you. And again, I think if it's with let me get my words out. If we're going to talk micro versus macro again, the kind of macro situation is Daniel Levy. We know that. Yeah. And as a Spurs fan, I'm very, the guy that called in earlier and said I'm in denial about my club. I'm not. I completely know what my club is capable of. But do you know what? For me, I think it's about understanding what we can achieve, but Ange, the problem with for Ange is Ange has come in and he's talked a great game. Like he talks Ange talks a game like he's just taken over Man City or Liverpool. Ange talks like those managers that can walk the walk, right? And this is the problem. He's come in and he said all these great things and it's got everyone a bit rolled up. By the way, Anthony, who's waiting in the background, I will get you on, mate. You will be my last one. You will be my last one. And if I get divorced, you can explain to my wife why. The difference for me, Hassan, is we've had managers that have had short-term success. We'll use that in right. When you look at what Harry Redknapp did for 3 or 4 years, I loved every minute of it. Did I know that we weren't going to win league titles? Of course I knew we weren't going to win league titles. But Harry got the team playing well. He got, he made sensible signings. I really connected with Harry. Not he doesn't know who I am, but I really felt like when Harry was talking, it was like, yeah, that's my manager. When Harry was at the training ground leaning out of car windows and transfer windows and stuff, loved it, right? Poch, again, until it didn't work. Poch, for that moment in time, you're thinking, look what he done. The difference is I look at Ange and I don't see it. I don't feel it for a start. I don't see it in the results. And the problem for me is, yes, we can say, look how many managers we've had. But the reality of it is, other than maybe 2 or 3 clubs in the country, who doesn't change their manager this quick? Like everyone changes their manager.
Yeah, that's true.
If we look at all these clubs, they change their managers because 2 things can be true. And what I mean by that, Hassan, right? And so I'm not teaching you to suck eggs. You know this. 2 things can be true, right? So me thinking that we've got to stop changing managers every minute can be true. So it can be true that Ange isn't very good.
Yeah.
Right. So that doesn't mean that I go, oh, I don't rate this manager, but you know what? We can't keep changing manager. Just let him stay. Just let him keep with his bad form. So for me, I think there's a certain inevitability to the fact that we're football fans. We're going to see managers come and go. And Hassan, as I said, I'm double your age. If I'm going to sit here and reel off every Tottenham manager since I was born, right, we're going to be here for hours, right? So that's the way it is. You get a short span of time. And the difference is Ange has had more money than any other Spurs manager in history. Yeah. And I don't expect that. I always use this. I don't expect that. But I do expect a gradual incline of improvement.
Yeah.
The defeats 4 in 9.
Yeah.
4 in 9 is embarrassing. That's my take on what you said.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, look, I feel like we look into the same sort of glass house just from a different lens, because I do agree with a lot of what you're saying. The money thing is very true. He spent 350 million, but I always tend to try and not go down that route too much, purely because I know when we say he spent a lot of money, has he? In terms of, I mean, you don't have to trust Paul O'Keefe with your life. You don't have to, but most people do. And you've seen the Gallagher, the Neto thing, right? Now, you can go against that, you can go with that. But if that is the case, and he's one of the most reliable ones in terms of Spurs, manager Warren Gallagher, ba-bam. Warren Eze, ba-bam. Who'd we end up with? Gray and Bergwall as the alternatives. And they fit the profiles, right? They fit the profiles. Yeah. He wanted Neto. I think anyone could have seen that he wanted Neto, even without Paul O'Keefe. You saw how much love he had for him when he was on the World Cup broadcasting.
And we bid for that. We did.
Yeah, we did. But we did player trading. But we did player trading, and it didn't get the 50 odd mil. And it's pretty ironic now that our replacement for him, Odebear, has played about 2 games in about 4 months for us. So injury prone. So, but I think that's all managers, right? You look at Conte. We all knew he wanted Bastoni. Bastoni himself came out and said, I had a few conversations with him. Who'd he end up with? Long way on loan. Right. So when it comes to 350 million spent, I think Ange, again, he did a disservice to himself by saying everything that comes through the club, I have approved. And I think
correct, yes.
Because, and people might call me in the chat, but I think Ange is essentially Antonio Conte but attacking and with less honors in terms of he's not very adaptable. He's not going to change from, his 3-4-3 with Conte to something else.
Yeah.
And Ange isn't going to change from his 4-3-3 to something else. They both have very strong beliefs, my way or the highway. But the thing with Conte was he knew what club he was coming into. So you remember when Jed Spence came in, he said,
Yeah.
"Not mine, club signing." Versus Ange, who's everything comes through me. I like Timo Werner. Come in.
Yeah. Look,
We all know.
I agree. I think the worst thing Ange did for himself was say every player who comes in, I sign off on. These are all my signings. He's coming out in the last couple of weeks and said, "There's no excuses. This is all on me." That's fine. But I think the difference between the two, and I do need to get Anthony on in a minute. But the difference between the two for me is, look, Antonio Conte can pick and choose which club he goes to with reason, right? Antonio Conte, has got that standing in the game where he can turn around and go, Spurs, you're all the same, because he's a winner, right? And he walks away, and everyone, I don't really like him as a manager, but I loved what he said. And Ange hasn't got that. The problem is Ange is coming from leagues that aren't what Antonio Conte has won in. And Ange hasn't got that standing to sit there and call out our board. Because let's be honest, if Ange leaves now, will he get a bigger job than Tottenham? I don't think so. I don't think he's done anything to prove he should have. Antonio Conte is currently, I think I've just seen maybe that Napoli have just won again tonight. And
I think he's
right. So that's the difference between the two for me. Look, listen, I'm going to let you go, but I do agree with you. It's a merry-go-round at this club. This is why, I don't know if you saw my video earlier that I did with Kuva and Ben. This is why a lot of Spurs I laugh at, right? Because it's Spursy. We are Spursy. We know what's going to happen. There's an inevitability to this football club that I've seen year in, year out. So when new fans of the club start trying to tell me about, but this is different, I'm like, nah, I've seen all this before. So listen, Hassan, great calling. Hopefully you'll join next time. And
We'll do.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you.
Enjoy your day, man. Take care.
You too.
I'm going to get Anthony in, and that'll be the last call. Before I do, Dixon 2020, thank you so much. I said, congratulations on 14K. Deserve many more. We'll see. Let's see how long it takes to get to 15K. It's been a long old slog from 13 to 14, but we'll give it a go. Big up. Thank you so much, Dixon. I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. And then the last person coming in today. How are you doing, Anthony? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good still. I'm sorry, Savva. I call Stel Savva, and I call you Stel. Anyway.
We get it a lot. We get it a lot. Don't worry. It's racist just because we're Greek, but we get it a lot.
Well, I'm a racist, so it's good. It suits me. So good. One of the things that that you were talking about, I'm absolutely not here, first of all, to argue with you. I'm actually here to, I'm firmly Team Stel and Team Savva. There are nuances and differences between the two of you. One of which I do want to talk to you about briefly. I'll be brief, but one of the things that I wanted to say is you said something today, which for me was in the afternoon. I was listening to it on the car radio as I was driving at like noon here in New York. And you said something which was so spot on that it hit me like just an absolute gut punch. You were talking about Ange, and you said that you don't like to look at him, that when he speaks, it's literally like some club press officer is speaking. It's not your manager. It's just some guy who has this, this is anger and this acerbic way, this like basically the kind of defensiveness of a guy that's about to be fired, who's like on the chopping block and he doesn't care anymore. And he's just going to be a real, PRICK against, anyone that dares question why he took our two creative midfielders off when we were down by a goal and, other just impossibly absurd decisions that he's made. Just the fact that you were saying that you look at him not as your manager, but as a guy on Spurs. I'm paraphrasing, but basically you were just saying you have no connection to the guy. that hit me so hard because I remember exactly what you guys, what Ben and what Kuva were talking about. Ben alluded to too, and you said exactly the same thing. You started it. You said, I would watch Match of the Day. I would watch, look for his press conference with Poch.
Yeah.
I would want to know what Poch had for breakfast that morning and which, did he get driven to the ground or did he drive? I want to know what mood he was in. You don't give a shit what Postecoglou does or doesn't do or anything like that. Mate, you are so checked out. And I didn't realize, but I mean, it came to me. I was like, I'm exactly the same way. I don't care. I don't care. He could say anything. He could say, I hate Daniel Levy and I'm disgusted with this club. Like my dream thing for a manager to say, he could go die, kill himself and hoist him on his own petard, as the saying goes, like do a sort of a Conte thing, except even worse. He could literally call Levy out word for word and say, I don't care if that bald cockroach fires me. I think he's absolutely the ruination of this club. I've never gotten who I wanted. I'm so tired of this. And I don't care if I breach my contract and I don't get paid another cent, I can't stand this club. Even then, like my dream scenario, I'd be like, oh, I guess Postecoglou finally got angry. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't care because I have nothing invested in him. And the last thing I'll say, I don't mean to go on a rant, but that not having a connection with a manager is a really, really bad sign. It's kind of like when you're with a woman and you stop being interested in sex and you stop being interested in like doing anything with her, not even sexual, just like walking to the store.
Yeah, any affection. Yeah.
You're checked out. You're checked out, but you're in the relationship. You're not going anywhere, but you're checked out. That means the relationship is de facto over.
Look, when I said that earlier, I didn't mean it in there's a penalty shootout taking place between Brentford and Stoke, I think, but whoever they're Sheffield Wednesday, I think, sorry. Look, when I said it, I didn't mean any disrespect to Ange. It's just, you know what it's like.
I didn't take it. No one took it like that. Savva.
No, I know. I know, but I have to caveat because there are people that
at all.
I don't know. There are managers where you identify with. There are managers where you like. I always use Harry Redknapp as the example.
Yes.
When Harry Redknapp was manager, I just felt like he's a proper football manager. Yeah. He's in it for the football. Yeah. If we played bad, Harry would say, "Yeah, we were rubbish today. That weren't good enough. He should have done." And I felt, yes. When I'm watching Ange,
same with Martin Jol, by the way.
Same as Martin Jol, who had the sexiest voice in the world. Loved Martin Jol, right? Yes, we won the game.
Spurs were good today, but we didn't do what we had to do, and this is why we get beaten. This is happening when we're playing terrible football. I love the guy. Exactly.
But these managers I looked at and I was like, yeah, I get what you're saying. I believe in what you're saying. When Ange talks, I'm at the stage now where if he's on Sky Sport, I switch it off.
Same.
Because I feel like it's a lot of riddles. Yeah. I feel like the whole nonsense about subs are irrelevant to me. We didn't deserve a trophy anyway.
I don't believe in a 6 or an 8 or a 10. They're midfielders.
Just quickly, sorry, Rico, I know you've just joined in the back. You've already been on, mate, and I am going after this call. So I am going to boot you from the show, mate. No hard feelings, but I do need to go after this. Look, I
don't believe in a 6 or an 8 or a 10. They're all midfielders.
It's just madness. 1 week it's, substitutes don't matter. We didn't deserve a point. Hang on, mate. Whether we deserved a point or not, your job is to get that point. That's your job. Get that point. And I don't know. This is not just that. It's everything. I find him really rude with reporters.
Yeah, me too. I hate that.
Listen, all the managers go through this. You can see it. Look at Pep Guardiola. You can see he doesn't want to be in press conferences. Mm-hmm. But you know what? He's never rude, right? You watch Arne Slot in an interview. Yep. You look at Arne Slot and you think, I like you. You seem like a good guy. I like you. You come across well. I don't get that from Ange. With Ange, I get the feeling that he's doing us a favour.
Yes.
And I look at it and go, no, mate. We're Tottenham Hotspur. You've come from Celtic. No offence. You've come from Celtic. You should be, you should be doing cartwheels that you're at Tottenham Hotspur. And for me,
he should be doing Ryan Mason's job.
Agreed. And for me, look, it's just me. I don't identify with him. I don't look at him and think, I'm glad you're the guy.
Same.
And you've just summed it up nicely, Anthony. You've just summed it up. He could be a press officer the way he talks. There's no emotional connection. There's no, I just don't. I watched Thomas Frank today do an interview.
Yep.
Thomas Frank was asked about
Brentford.
Yeah, do you know what? Bleeds it. But he was asked about the Man United job. And he speaks so well, and he's so calm, and he's so friendly, and it's so elegant. Then I watch Ange, and I just think, oh, shut up. Like, he just...
a dick.
Yeah. He seems like the sort of bloke I wouldn't like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just me. It's just
no,
me.
I totally know what you mean. So one of the things, besides losing connection with the manager, which I had, honestly, the first time when he was really rude to a reporter. And I remember this year there was a female reporter that asked him questions, and he might as well have told her to F herself. Like he was so rude to her that it actually embarrassed me. It was almost like he was a little bit beating up on her because she was a woman and she was weak. And so he just shot. I mean, he's done this to men too. So I don't just want to pull the sexism card, but it really felt belittling to her. He's basically, he's that kind of guy that if you were to talk to him on the ground, he'd be like, I'm sorry, Rich. How many Premier League teams have you managed? I'm sorry, I didn't get that, Rich. You've managed at the top levels in Australia and Japan. Is that correct? Yeah. Oh no, it's not. Okay, then maybe you don't want to say anything, but maybe you should let the people, the big boys who actually have coached at a high level, do the coaching, and you can do the watching. How about we do that, mate? He's that kind of guy who pulls out like, I'm sorry, have you done it? Card when it's like when it's
like the people on YouTube, when they disagree with you, go, oh, are you a manager? Oh, yes. Sorry. Does that? Should we shut down all YouTube channels then because none of us are football managers?
100%. You don't deserve to have an opinion. So
exactly.
There's a further thing that I think the thing that's scaring me the most. So we can get off Ange for a sec because I know that you've been on that train for a while. I wrote down two names, which is Paul Barber and Paul Mitchell. And I was thinking to myself, one of the background disasters of our club is getting rid of Paratici, who is picking, say what you want about the guy. He was kind of the Harry Redknapp of like player acquisition guys. He's a sketchy bloke. You definitely wouldn't trust him with either your bank account or your missus, but damn, could that guy get a tune out of players and pick young players. I think Udogie, by the way, is brilliant. He's just not a left back. He's a wing back. So I think a lot of the players that he picked are right on, but we're going to this data-driven Moneyball Brighton style model. It's funny because I don't think Brighton would have spunked 55 million on Brendan Johnson. And I don't think that I don't think they would have gone in hard for Dominic Solanke. So my point is this, the backroom staff, which is, the people that are doing the player acquisition, even though Ange says the buck stops with me, we all know that that's crap. Any player, any manager, Arnie Slot could tell you that. They have time to look at the players that are offered to them, and maybe they know a couple players from their experience in Holland or whatever. Maybe they have an inside scoop on a couple people, but you need to have a front office that works in lockstep with the manager, which is why you think Jurgen Klopp was out there looking at game film of all the different, players in the championship when he, picked up, Robertson from Stoke, or I think he came from Stoke. In other words, he needed to have the front office work in lockstep with him. The fact that Lange is now the new Paratici, and that him and Scott Munn have replaced what was an old school. No, don't worry. I make a phone call. I call. we can get this boy. He's fine. You don't have to worry. For me, he's the best. He'll be fantastic. That's not good.
Well, we've replaced that with someone now that just wants 18-year-olds from all over the world.
Yeah, no, but also someone in Lange that, first of all, doesn't speak much because he's Danish, so he's already kind of a quiet, reserved. They're not allowed. Look at Christian Eriksen and stuff like that. I'm not putting them down. I'm saying Danish people are notably quiet and they're not braggarts. They're not big personalities in the main. And so I think Lange is part of this, and Scott Munn is part of this move to corporatize the club even more. And then when you get a guy like Postecoglou, who's a complete yes man for the front office, it's already corporatized, working under a boss that has made us into, this global brand as if we're, Yves Saint Laurent or Gucci or something, and not a football club. To me, this is really spelling disaster, because all the ducks are lining up in a row. I actually think that we have you were saying on the show today, or maybe it was Ben, but they said something like, oh, Conte was playing with worse players or something. We have a better team now. I don't think we do. I actually think that our talent level seems like they're better. They appear to be better. Like on paper, they're better. Like Kulu and Bentancur are better than whoever we had, in the midfield, 4 years ago under Conte. But I think that the realistic thing is that no matter how skilled these players are, no matter how much better they are now than Conte's team and Clement Longgap and all these different crap players that he had to pick, I still think that team had more fight in it, that there was more of an anger and more of a go get 'em.
That comes from the manager, though. Like the fight. By the way, I really have to. I'm literally going to get pelters. I really do have to go. But look, I'll be doing this show again next week. Jump on. We can have a longer chat. Guys, girls, listen, I don't disagree with you, Anthony. We're on the same page, even though you think I'm Stel. Big up to Stel, by the way. Please support Tottenham away. Thank you to everyone that subscribed to me tonight. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you, Anthony, for coming on. Thank you to
Thanks
Rico.
for getting me on, Rich. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. I appreciate
No worries.
that.
Everyone's going to call me Richard now, aren't they? By the way, big up. Guys and girls, I'll be back tomorrow. I've got a video with myself and Irish Hotspur, and then at 6:30 UK time, I'll be live for all the build-up for Tottenham versus Man City. Take care, and as always, come on, you Spurs.